My mic's not on. What's up, pups? How's everybody doing? What's up, Georgie? What's up, Tam Tam? Charles, Baby Whale, Bright Light, Spartan Moon, Kryptonite, Effortless Crypto, Gabriel Torres, Bud P, Ethiosapian, William Dugan, Effortless Crypto. Yeah. Got it. I made a lot of changes, so there's a lot of new stuff. So let me know if everything's working. But it's all good stuff. All good stuff. Yeah. The chats aren't showing up. Super chat already. What's happening, man? Let's go try it. I got some new super chats too, so let's try one. Yo, Balaji Singh says, the king is back. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Really appreciate that super chat. Looks like you're coming in from UK. Right on, brother. That's awesome, man. Oh, I gotta change everything manually now. What's up, Love Matters? What's up, Hexander? What's up, Sasha K? What's up, Ashmore? Balaji, once again, thanks so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Looks like the Richard Hart man has destroyed everything. He's just come back to dominate, and the rest of this crypto cycle is going to belong to PulseChain. It's going to be amazing. No doubt about it. It's going to do really well. Actually, I think it's going to be a lot of AI and memes once again, probably a lot of AI. But as far as anything else functioning goes in crypto, I think PulseChain is gonna rule in terms of like the next big thing outside of those narratives of AI and memes once again. You guys getting volume now, right? Let's make sure everything's working. I think it's all good now. Let's see. So yeah, Richard Hart is back. We're gonna play that video. We're going to look at it. We're going to go. Oh, by the way, I found this out. It's really interesting. That stuff they've been spraying in the chemtrails, it turns out it's two elements. Barium and aluminum is what they're finding, which, as you see put together, spell out, well, there you go, Baal. B-A-A-L. Kind of weird fact. All right. Let's get this thing undressed. Let's get in there and see what he's talking about. Oh, we need to come over to here now. There we go. It's all set. All right. Let's put up a little bit.
Not have their case dropped. This guy, me, I did that. And you know why I did that? Well, 1, I'm innocent. 2, I've got great lawyers. 3, the government decided to bring a really stupid case against a really honest person. And guess what happened? The judge saw through it and dismissed the case in its entirety, something that almost no other cryptocurrency has ever achieved. And they didn't just charge me. They charged me, Hex, PulseChain, PulseX. They actually charged software as a defendant. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine math that you can run at home and execute on your own, charging it as a defendant? Unbelievable, right? It would set a terrible precedent for all of open source software everywhere, where anybody that ran anything anywhere would somehow encumber the founder and the publisher with some type of liability. Insane. Terrible. And I beat them in court. The case was not dropped. The case was not settled. We beat them in court, and we got something that I hear is better than a judgment with prejudice, and that is a judgment on the merits, a in favor of judgment, where it's not a question who the victor was me, and PulseChain and PulseX and Hex. But it's a little bit weird to call software code that you can run at the privacy of your own home a victor. But since they were silly enough to charge them as defendants, well, I guess, the judge also had to declare them as victors. Very, very silly. And if you go and read the actual oral arguments in front of the judge, you know, it looks really awesome for the innocent guy, me. It sucks that in this world where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, you have this massive chilling effect against your free speech because there's a team of guys sitting in a room combing through everything you've ever said and anything you're saying and anything that you might say and looking for something to screw you up on. It's happened to President Donald Trump. It's happened to a lot of people in cryptocurrency, sadly. And then it happened to me. But I didn't settle like everyone else. And by the way, you know, a lot of people were filing amicus briefs and people in the industry were helping each other out and, you know, putting up a united fight, a united stand. Nobody in the industry helped me. Not at all. Not a little bit. So we did it on our own, just like we did everything else. The S-load fee got raised. Oh, well, no problem. S-load fee and transactions are looking nice and affordable on PulseChain. Oh, you know, we removed you from the front end. Uniswap had removed Hex from the front end. They have since added it since we won in court. They've added Hex back to the front end on the Ethereum network. And it's like, you know, why would you charge, if not the most honest person in crypto, one of the most honest people in crypto, with lying, and then go through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of the video and send subpoena and subpoena and subpoena and subpoena the whole universe. And then, you know, when the judge asks you, okay, well, show me the lie, you're just like, I don't know. But I don't know where the lie is, Your Honor. You know, it's it's terrible and costly and silly and a waste of the government's resources that could have been out there, you know, doing good in the world, getting bad guys, and there's no shortage of bad guys to get. So, moral of the story, if you come at the king, you're going to lose. I prepared for this my whole life. You know, I did as much research as I could. I researched the law to the best of my ability, and I was right and everyone else was wrong. And that's what's up. So thank you to the Honorable Judge Amon, the federal district judge in the Eastern District of New York, that saw through the lies. And there were a lot of lies. Misquotations, just disgusting. Maybe not as disgusting as the debt box case, but pretty disgusting. I mean, they got full sanctions in the debt box case for a number of lies the SEC did, telling lies to the judge in that case. Yeah, I had a remote control hit record. I accidentally stopped it. Rage. I haven't done a video in a while. So, what's new? Well,
all right, that was pretty awesome. We're going to continue. I didn't know that they had, they had whole teams of people going through everything he's ever posted on X, everything he's probably ever put on social media, every message they could get. Maybe they'd subpoenaed, you know, some of these original Hex streamers from back in 2018-19, 2020. And maybe they had even gotten some authorization to look at their emails. Who knows what they were combing through for hours and hours and weeks looking for something they could show the judge. And even after all that fine-tooth combing through everything he's ever said and done, they literally couldn't bring enough for the judge to conclusively agree with anything they were saying. That's crazy when you think about the amount of resources they must have thrown at him. Because remember, you know, he started this off very elated, and he is right. It didn't get dropped. He won. Nobody wins. Okay, everyone pays something to the SEC. Everybody pays. You know, even if they let you off the hook. He won. That means, and you know they didn't give up easy. I'm sure he's not kidding. He must have some insight that his attorneys must have told him that, look, they're going through. He knows probably who got subpoenaed and what have you, right? Which influencers. I remember quite a few went quiet for a little while, so I assumed that the SEC must have been talking to them, right? And even after all that, they couldn't find anything to the point where he won. That's crazy. And that's amazing. It's amazing, too. I think it just shows the strength of what Richard Hart has built and how many years in the planning this has been in. That he's been doing this. So he is absolutely out to continue to win. Probably isn't going to happen tomorrow. This looks like it's a process, and it's going to be amazing to watch it unfold. These people are paid by our tax dollars. Well, yeah, but they don't work for us. Just because somebody steals your tax dollars doesn't mean they work for you. That's not really how it works. We're like tax cattle. Prosecutors have been pissed that RH stopped streaming. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, look, it was a smart thing to do. You got to be quiet, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just the way it is. They did the same to RG3 with the videos and stuff. Okay, they went through his stuff? Okay, probably. Yeah, there's probably a handful of people from the beginning that were streaming with him from the beginning that they I'm sure they went through and assumed that they were, whatever, there was some cabal, whatever, SEC ain't paying for shit. Yeah, man, you beat him. What's up, man? Everybody who's out there, smash the like button. Let's make this euphoric. I know some of you guys have already streamed. I've already watched this before, at least twice. I'm just watching again with you guys. Very cool. It's really his first stream back free. And it's going to take him a second to warm back up. He's just been thrown back into the deep end again, getting out there. But yeah, it's really great to see. I'm happy to watch it over and over with you guys. But yeah, if you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe. We got a lot of great content coming out. Wow, you guys are amazing. You guys are incredible. All right, let's go.
We've got, with this new legal clarity that almost no other coin in the world has, including Ethereum, no one's willing to go on record and say Ethereum's not a security. I mean, I think I heard somebody from the CFTC say that, but nobody from the SEC that I'm aware of has gone on record saying that. Look, I think that software that you run in the privacy of your own home is unlikely to be a security. So I would prefer a world where people can make their own decisions. For a disclosure-based regulator to pretend that disclosures don't matter is just wild. Well, anyway, long story short, I won, they lost, I was right, everyone else was wrong. And that's what happens when you're honest. You have the facts on your side. There's a lot of people out there that aren't honest. They say a lot of things that aren't true. They mislead you. A lot of people that launch coins suck. And a lot of coins that launch suck, which is why I don't talk about many coins. Very, very few. I don't like to talk about many coins because so many of them are garbage. But that's life. So many outfits that you could wear suck. So many things you could say suck. You really have to curate. That's why DJs exist. They play music that's good. And that's why, you try and follow people that are smart. You try and learn from people that have experience. How many things have we seen fail while Hex has operated flawlessly, PulseChain's operated flawlessly? Tons of things. Billions and billions and billions of dollars lost all over the place by people that think they're better than you. But you didn't lose $1 billion. They did. there's no self-awareness in this industry. They don't realize who the good actors are. I'm a good actor, and a lot of other people out there are not. So with this new regulatory certainty, either people are going to work with us, because what's missing, right? You've got a unique product and a unique feature with time locking and Hex. You've got a faster, cheaper Ethereum in PulseChain that has higher throughput, lower latency, lower fees, and none of the L2 vampires. Hey guys, you tried the L2 thing. It didn't work out, huh? You regret that now, don't you? Yeah. Come to an L1. Come to PulseChain. It's more secure, more composable. It's the idea that they incentivize people to steal brand awareness from Ethereum using L2s and then fracture liquidity and then introduce latency and then introduce massive risk. The majority of these L2s, the vast majority, if they turn off their centralized sequencer, you can't transact anymore. Your money's gone. Bye-bye. Are you in blockchain for trusted counterparty risk? I'm in blockchain for trustlessness. I'm in blockchain for permissionlessness. I'm in blockchain for doing things that make the world a better place. Having to beg someone for your money is the opposite of why the blockchain was invented, and that's all L2s are. 99% of them. Absolutely terrible decision from the Ethereum guys, and their price chart has paid the price for it. It's down over 4 years now. That sucks. It used to be 5K, now it's, 1,400 a few weeks ago. I think 1,800 now. That sucks, man. $1,800 Ethereum sucks, especially when gold's at all-time highs, Bitcoin's nearing all-time highs again. Do I think it'll get back up? Yep, I do, especially if institutions are buying, which they are. How many ETFs are there out there right now? Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those are the two large ones. So if your thesis is that institutions are going to be the guys that are buying, well, it's nice to have an ETF. Now, that being said, Ethereum and Bitcoin did really, really well before they had ETFs, when they had lower market caps, right? So take, for instance, the liquidity that you see in PulseChain, PulseX. You could get a God candle at any moment. You could get a giant green candle at any moment because it's easier to get them because it takes less economic energy because there's less of it for sale. PulseChain has less inflation than both Ethereum and Hex and Bitcoin. But what has even less inflation than PulseChain is PulseX. PulseX has deflation. There's less PulseX now than there's ever been. And for the rest of time, there will always be less PulseX than there's ever been because it only burns and it can never inflate. And, I think 1.4 trillion of it has been burned so far. That's a lot. And the Richard Hart Twitter account, you can see a guide on how to go into the block explorer and look at the contract and just look at the number of burnt PLSX. And if you click the GWEI, GWEI checkbox. It'll like remove a bunch of zeros and show you like the PulseX number because it has a bunch of extra zeros for resolution. It's like how many like when you add a new token, it asks you how many decimals it has. It has a lot of decimals. So we got great news. We've got regulatory certainty that almost no other coin has. If people don't start doing nice things for us, working with us, listing, etc., I wouldn't be surprised to see people just start up competitors. The regulatory environment's never been nicer. I mean, you had a memo from Todd Blanche of the Department of Justice, which specifically was titled Ending Regulation by Enforcement, or Ending Regulation by Prosecution. And he said that a lot of people were being prosecuted for things they shouldn't be. It's a really great memo. You should read it. It's by the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, Todd Blanche. I think he's the second in command of the Department of Justice underneath Pam Bondi. So, it's like, I think it's President, Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche. Well, that's about as high up as you're going to get. And, it set regulatory priorities to do things that would help us and help people, stop getting robbed and a lot of other really good things. Let the SEC do their job. Let law enforcement do its job. Writing regulations is not something that the Department of Justice is supposed to do. The legislative branch is supposed to write laws. The executive branch is supposed to enforce laws. The executive branch is not supposed to write laws. It's checks and balances. Three branches of government: executive, judicial, legislative. And I'm glad. It would be nice if the executive stopped doing a denial of service attack on the judicial by doing less bad things that the judicial had to unwind. So 2 years ago, the executive decided to file a bad lawsuit against me and Hex and PulseChain and chill our free speech and chill our ability to publish free and open source software that is used by others to publish and associate their thoughts publicly. That's wild. And then they sent out all these subpoenas to people that are basically reporters doing their own research and reporting what they find. Original researchers. People in our community, they're not spouting off things that they read from somebody else like a normal reporter reading a teleprompter. They're doing their own original research, and they should have the same protections against interference with the media process, where you go and you learn and you publish to the public things that they can improve their lives with, knowledge, like what I'm doing with you right now. I am stating to you verifiable facts that I hope will make your life better. For instance, there was a conference that I didn't know about called PulseChain 2055 conference. I guess we love the 55s. So for instance, the maximum length stake that you can make is 5,555 days in Hex. The Hex.com diamond has 555.55 carats and 55 facets. And then the judgment came out on May 5th, which is 5/5 of 2025. It's just funny. I think numerology is stupid. I don't believe in it. But branding and shelling points and everyone kind of focusing on the same thing, it's kind of fun, right? It's good.
All right. Now, that clip has been all over Twitter all day, X. Come on. This is crazy. Literally, his first project is called Hex. A Hex is based off like I Ching, six-sided hexagonal numerology. We got 3, 6, 9, 5, 5, 5. There's definitely something about certain dates. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, no, he sounds very sincere. He's in full congruence with it, everything about it. So I think he's being very genuine. So maybe it's just accidental. Maybe just intelligence. When you're intelligent, you're doing things just line up. And maybe that's why numerology is real. Like, even if you don't believe in it, it is how we work, right? It's like moon cycles and everything's a fractal, right? You believe as above, so below. Things are more connected than we realize. So maybe things just play out in an interesting way. But yeah, that was interesting. I would have assumed he was really into it and understood it, but he doesn't. But I've certainly, before I got into it too, I think I was doing a lot of things accidentally with numerology on a regular basis when I look back at numbers I picked and then finding out later what it was and not knowing. My lucky number when I was a kid was like 11. I think I'm a life path 1. I didn't know any of this stuff till much later. I don't know if 11 and 1 are connected, but it's funny that was my number that I was drawn to, 2 11s, 2 1s. But yeah, it's all about postcards. If you said he was in a numbers of field, haters would have had a field day.
Good for just for fun. So
that's interesting. Ethno Sapien says he was always clear about being a rational materialist. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, he wrote a book called Skydive, which reminded me a lot of Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. Like, there were similarities in the frame and the tone. He had different points to be made, of course. but the tone and the framing was similar from the perspective of somebody who was a rational materialist and was coming at things very logically, which makes sense too. But you knew he was never a numerology guy. He uses imagery in a tongue-in-cheek way. Yeah, that's true. I can see what you mean by rational materialist. No, yeah, for sure. But his name is Richard Hart, so he is a sensitive person. He certainly recognizes that element. Either that, or he was just fully in terms of creating, the persona just from that perspective. But I see him as, a very sensitive person as well. Well, if you definitely have some Scientology alpha from living out in L.A. Yeah, well, I used to live in Clearwater, Florida, Shinzo's boy, which I didn't know was their headquarters till I got a little older. I just grew up thinking it was normal that people just walked around in suits, handing out books and stuff. And so, of course, because I lived there and went to school, I knew a lot of kids whose families were in Scientology. And I knew a lot of good people. I mean, I never had a problem with it. Where I lived in Florida was kind of a basket of cults. There was, we had a lot of, I'm not going to lie, my parents were kind of in a cult. I grew up in a cult. We had a lot of Mormons. One of my high school girlfriends was a Mormon. A lot of people I knew were Scientologists. We had Scientology down there. So there was a lot of that that was drawn to the west coast of Florida for some reason. And it was beautiful. Look, it was gorgeous beaches back then. It was really cool. Very different than it is now. Numbers are a way to decode reality. Even if it's not numerology, consciousness is key to the field. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just saying a few minutes ago. When you're dialed in, you're intelligent. You're going to tap in and tune into all that stuff anyway, because it is a framework of this reality, and everything's a fractal. So you're operating on those same principles whether you want to or not. If you want to be successful, you will operate on those paradigms, whether you want to or not, if you want to be successful. So it's going to play out regardless. That's what but I'm not putting a guy down for who he is. We all have different ways of thinking, and we all used to mother. It's all geometry. Yep.
Yeah. And it's also funny, the final judgment is like document ID number 888 or something. Now I'm telling you, like, numerology's stupid and I don't like it, but these are just a couple things that popped out at me. Which is funny.
That's funny.
So, where was I? I don't know. I don't have a script. I'm just telling you the truth as I know it. So we had a beautiful document from Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General of the United States Department of Justice, trying to get rid of all this waste of resources and misallocation of resources that's making the United States a worse place and injuring what Donald Trump, the President of the United States, has declared by executive order to be a critical industry. So, do you want to help the United States? Are you subject to the command of the Supreme Commander of the United States,
Supreme
the President?
Commander.
I think he might even be above Supreme Commander. Anyway, yeah, probably you are. Probably that's your boss. Probably you should follow the law and orders, So, if the President of the United States says that cryptocurrency is a critical industry and it matters and you should try and help it instead of hurt it, probably you should try and help us instead of hurt us. And there's a lot of us out there, millions and millions and millions and millions. And that's why, I dislike gatekeepers. I dislike big corporate entities. I think cryptocurrency was invented to replace all those guys. But at least Coinbase is out there doing good lobbying and trying to get good laws passed. I'm not saying all their laws are good. I think they have an angle where they want to, make USDC better than other things because they make money on USDC. So I'm not saying every law they produce is great, but they are doing a lot of good work with Paul Grewal. I'm not sure that's how you pronounce his name, but he's the chief legal officer over at Coinbase. These guys are filing cases they won a case in court against FinCEN to get Tornado Cash removed from the OFAC sanctions list. This is an example of a human being or a few human beings at the United States government chilling your speech, chilling your ability to associate with others, chilling your ability to do math and publish it publicly on the blockchain. A guy or a few guys in the United States made it impossible or illegal for you to do that. And then the court had to stop them and say, no, that's not okay. You can't list code that people run from their houses as though it were an entity to be sanctioned. And then they try and play games. They try and go, oh, okay, we'll stop, but don't put a judgment on us. We don't need an extra control. We're just going to stop on our own. The number of angles and lies and misleading things that you see the guys on the prosecutorial side do, it's just wild. You're like, guys, there's laws, there's rules. I mean, I just heard in the Samurai case, I just heard that the prosecutors have a meeting set now with the judge, I believe tomorrow, regarding a Brady violation, which is where the prosecution hides evidence that would lend towards the innocence of the accused party. And apparently FinCEN directly told DOJ that they didn't think Samurai would be considered a money transmitter because they didn't actually receive money. But then DOJ hid that for a couple years from the defense and from the judge, apparently. Go read the docket. Not a lawyer. Go read the docket. Just telling you the news of heard it. Yeah, like why, guys? You have the entire United States funding and machine behind you. Why are you lying and making the government look bad? There's no reason to be doing this lying. It's not necessary or ethical or moral or allowed. And, go look up what happened to the Securities and Exchange Commission in the debt box case where they had to pay the defendant's attorney fees and were sanctioned and then closed the office. The SEC closed the office that was handling that case. They just closed the whole office. Disgusting. So, just for record, I beat the SEC in court. Why? Well, man, go read the judge's ruling, okay? I'm innocent. They said things about me that aren't true. That's not fair. And there's a standard that you have to meet. There's a lot of standards you have to meet. Let's focus on the positive things. Talking about the past and why things sucked, it's not really useful. We won, right? Let's focus on the next thing. I guess I mentioned some of these things because I want the United States to be a good place. And there's a lot of really cool people that live there that I want the best for. And the better the machine works, the better it is for everybody. If you have more guys spending their time screwing up real criminals, doing real evil, and not wasting their time trying to harm the good, honest people, publishing open source software that you can run or not from the comfort of your home, spreading ideas, doing research and publishing it, why would you interfere with that? It's just so wild to me. But the judge saw through it. Hopefully more judges, more places will do the same. The world would be a better place. So what should everybody focus on? I keep beating the same drum and then people just don't listen. For some reason, they don't listen. I don't know why. I tell you, what matters is marketing. Ethereum should know that what matters is marketing. The Bitcoin knows is what matters is marketing. You see Bitcoin on television all the time. It's constantly on television. Big ads.
Somebody just wrote sound is missing. Kirill, check your thing. Is everyone getting sound? I mean, I'm showing it here on the meters. Just need to double check. Who is this guy? This is a... Sounds good. No, it isn't. You guys are hilarious. So he still believes in America. I'm assuming he's still an American citizen. And I guess he'll come back now, I suppose, right? Like, we don't know where he is right now, but he definitely really believes in America, and sounds like he's kind of all behind what Trump is up to, and he knows they're going to get things going back on the right track soon. So that's good. I'm assuming from when the video came out, I was sleeping, so I'm guessing maybe he's in Asia or Russia, unless he's really an early bird. I guess he could have just been up all night too. We don't know what his schedule is. Is he a morning guy or is he a night person? I don't really know. What's up, Crypto Princess? How are you?
Everybody's talking about it all the time, which is why, even though it is ancient technology with very few features that is nearly useless for payments. No, you didn't just say that. Yeah, really, it is nearly useless for payments. You probably don't realize that because you haven't used it so long you don't remember how it works. I'll brief you on how it works in a second. Right now, PulseChain has vastly superior features to Bitcoin. Vastly. No comparison. Higher throughput, lower fees, you name it. Like everything you want it to do, it does better, basically. I guess I'm going to actually go through the list. See, to me, I know this stuff so well, I don't want to spend my time going through this list. But for you guys watching at home, you might not know it so well. And also, because the Bitcoin guys have all the money, I don't really want to say bad things about Bitcoin. But I guess I have to, because otherwise, how do you make progress in life? If you choose inferior technology over superior technology, how are you supposed to make progress in life? Should we all say great things about cassette tapes because the cassette tape guys have all the money? Yeah, man, cassette tapes are awesome because those guys have all the money. Screw CDs, screw MP3s. No, it's not honest, it's not ethical. Just tell the truth. Bitcoin's price, better than almost any other price in crypto. Started the lowest, went the highest. But when I called the top many, many years ago at 65K, Now it's 95K. You're up 50%. After a dip to 14K or 17K, went from 65 to 17. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Are you able to retire your family and create generational wealth off of like a 1.5x? Probably not. So while Bitcoin is great and they've got the most awareness and they've got the most marketing, it is not good technology. Well, should I say it's not good? It is good technology, but it is slow, expensive, and has very few features. And it's bad for the environment. No, you didn't say it was bad for the environment. Yeah, it's bad for the environment. You don't have to nuke the environment to maintain a consensus network. There's tons and tons of networks out there maintaining consensus just fine that aren't nuking the environment. PulseChain is one of them. You don't have to buy a miner from a magical, mystical miner company, of which there's only a few. You don't have to plug it into some giant, massive source of electricity. You don't have to suck the middleman D of the electric company and give them nearly all your profit to go hurt the environment. Oh, but no, we use renewable energy. Yes, I'm glad. Congrats. But like, even if it didn't hurt the environment, even if it was all renewable, it has a limit. And when you use up the renewable, somebody else can't. Maybe you could have been smelting aluminum, doing whatever else. And then you're also not going to have 100% renewable. And then why do you care to make the electricity company rich anyway, even if it was renewable? And guess what, man? What price do you think they're selling down in order to pay that electricity bill? They're selling coins to pay that electricity bill. Do you like them selling down the price, billions of dollars over a decade to sell the price down for what? To what end? To enrich a few mining companies and a few electricity companies and a few facilities companies for what? To maintain a consensus network? We have proof of stake that works wonderfully well now. We do not need to blow up the environment or have expensive costs or have centralization in the form of mining networks like this Foundry network the United States oftentimes has, I guess, nearly 50% or something.
I think he makes a really good point there, and I think about this a lot. I think about, I've taken you guys down a little bit of the rabbit holes with the World Economic Forum and what they want to do. They're obviously deindustrializing the West. They're globalizing what they're doing is globalizing the marketplace, okay? Unfortunately, if you don't see that now, well, we'll do deep dives to help you see that. But they're bringing down the living standard in the Western world and trying to bring it up in other places to just equalize the playing field. Just as in when they broke up families and brought, were able to tax full couples instead of one person. Now they want to bring everybody into the system and be able to tax everybody. They don't really care as long as they get the best price for employment, work, et cetera, cost of building things, what have you. Because they also know that AI is going to change the labor force as we know it. So it'll be bad at first, but then it'll be good in the long run as we figure out new ways to deploy our resources and our mental, capabilities and what have you. It'll give us capacity to do new ways, probably in creativity and other things. But I think the point is that when you think about that and you think about these massive places, because they are centralized, whether you realize it or not, we're relying on quite a, there's like a handful of places that run, a lot of the Bitcoin to keep it going. And if you think if they do one of these large scale things like they did in Spain, Spain and Portugal, which I think was just a warm up, they can easily conduct it on a much larger scale is what I think they're practicing for. They're going to do it on a large scale, and it wouldn't be hard for them to take down, some of these large operations that are doing it. Now, of course, after that happens, they'll probably decide that we need to move to different systems of energy, or maybe they'll force, people have to get backups or different things. But it'll be really tested when the energy grid comes down for a lot of these places. And because the energy requirement is quite enormous. It was created on an old system. It is amazing. Like, I'm not going to lie. I bought Bitcoin in 2013. I'll never forget the day I bought it, sitting on the floor with my buddy who was walking me through it. And it was made from a different era, pre-AI, it was very different world, very different world. I think it was, the white paper was cranked out just post-2000, something like that. And I'm assuming it said post-2000 because probably been working on it for a few years up to that, right? And it came out in 2008 or something, right? So I think that Richard Hart is ahead of his time, and he understands that with enough decentralization with this proof of stake network, the power to run each thing is extraordinarily minimal due to the way the networks of Bitcoin is decentralized networks can't be taken down due to the way the network is set up. Well, it does require a lot of power. So what happens when that power is compromised in a big way? Yeah, there is talks that in this very near future, a 51% attack could become more feasible with AI, so in the next few years. But that's still a little bit of, I don't know how far away we are from that being possible. But the thing is, I agree with you that it's a decentralized network, which is wonderful. It's really great. It's very secure. But I'm saying it is reliant on a tremendous amount of power that's hard to replicate right now without large amounts of power. It's hard to pull it off on backup generators and things like that. That's what I'm saying. The power use is high. So that is, obviously, we saw Spain was down and Portugal for 24 hours. So what's the next one they're going to do? I have no doubt they have something up their sleeve for that, right? They already announced it. Before the zombie apocalypse, they were talking about, if you look at interviews from 2015, 2016, 2017, they were literally saying, Bill Gates and the foundations, they were talking about what happens if there's a massive outbreak, right? And we already see some of the patents for what they were working on were already made well before the zombie apocalypse came out. So they knew it was coming. And what's the World Economic Forum talking about again? If you look at all his speeches, he was going off, Klaus Schwab, over the last couple of years about cyber attacks. That's all he was saying. The network is too big. I'm not worried about the 51% attack. I'm worried about the power thing. And I think no matter what, maybe it survives it and all that, and probably does, but I think the Hart man has a point about PulseChain being very cheap, very inexpensive to operate, and it is possibly more future-proof, though yet to be proven for sure, without a doubt. It is a new thing. Bitcoin has proven itself so far, but the power thing can be compromised, which it seems like they already have plans to do. They've been talking about these cyber attacks for a long time, so that's well, it could be their next thing. Who knows, right? But I do think what we saw in Portugal and Spain was not an accident. I think they were doing a warm up. They wanted to test it. I plan that'll appear at the end of the cycle. The entire world would need to be down, and all solar energy and batteries to take down the network. Okay, solar energy won't do anything, and your power would need to be down, which I think is going to come. They've been talking about it nonstop for like 2 years straight, so that's going to be down for sure. Now, the batteries, I just don't know what kind of battery reserves all these Bitcoin factories have. I don't think they're that big. The batteries technology is just now getting good. It's just now getting good. Have they implemented it at all these sites? I don't know. And remember, you're assuming that the power's down for, a day, but the batteries are going to be done after a day, 2 days. They're done. And forget the solar thing. That's probably not enough. And the installation, they'd each need their own giant installation to run it. Schwab quits just before the cyber attack in Portugal and Spain. This is just the beginning. I agree with you 100%. There's also a satellite in space which holds the Bitcoin network. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't think it could permanently be damaged. It's just a matter of it won't work while the thing is down. And who knows? Maybe that's when they figure out some way in the future, the power's down, and then it's more vulnerable to 51% attack. I don't know the full technicality with there, but I'm more concerned about the power issue because the power thing is pretty massive. But the point is, nothing wrong with Bitcoin. Still love it, great. But I do think there's absolutely a place for PulseChain to dominate here because it is incredible what it does, and it is all over the world now, and it's very inexpensive to operate, extraordinarily inexpensive. And we'll see when power gets much more expensive, which seems like that's what they're going to plan to do very soon. And when it goes out, what keeps going? And because this requires so little to keep going right now. But I do agree with you. Even without power, the Bitcoin, it's on the ledger, it's recorded, it's there, it's not going anywhere. So I understand that.
Which ain't so great if you're worried about a 51% attack. But hey, man, I hate beating on Bitcoin, but if you don't tell the truth about it, are you really going to have people buying superior tech? Are you? Probably not. So someone has to bite the bullet and tell the truth about this stuff. And yes, it sucks because they're all tribal and they're going to hate on you, but they were going to hate on you anyway. So you might as well just tell the truth, and then they're just going to hate you anyway. Bitcoin's had more than one inflation bug. PulseChain has not. Bitcoin doesn't have stable coins on it that are worth a crap. PulseChain does. Bitcoin does not let you launch your own tokens easily. PulseChain does. Go to pump.tires. You can run your own code, launch your own coin like that. You can publish documents very easily on PulseChain. You can communicate and message other people on PulseChain. Like, you can have privacy and anonymity if you want. There's ZK-enabled privacy tech on PulseChain. These things do not exist on Bitcoin, and they are awesome, and they are progress, and it's a better tool. If you believe in toolboxes and you believe in empowering people to be able to do what they want to do to make their lives better, PulseChain has superior tech. Hex has superior tech. PulseX has superior tech. Is there an on-chain exchange using Bitcoin to remove counterparty risk? Not that's any good, not at all. But there sure is on PulseChain. That's PulseX, pulsex.com. So, and these are just like, there's so many more features. It's like nearly endless how many superior features there are. It has a better logo. It has a better name. I like the founder better. He's still here, still talking. Yo, Satoshi, where you at, bro? Satoshi, you win any cases in court to help set positive precedent and positive vibes for cryptocurrency at large? No. I did. Hi. Where you at, man? I'm right here. Where are you? Yeah. So, like, in the end, oh, by the way, to tell you how stupid cryptocurrency is, if you go on these sites where people go to discover new coins to get scammed by, so if you want to get scammed by Luna, it was right on the homepage. If you wanted to get scammed by Yams, it was right on the homepage. If you wanted to get scammed by a lot of different things, it was right on the homepage of a lot of different sites for you to get scammed by. But it wasn't on my homepage. I wasn't promoting that garbage. I wasn't promoting FTX. I was telling you to make sure your money wasn't on it. I wasn't promoting BlockFi. I was telling you to make sure your money wasn't on it. I wasn't telling you to use Celsius. I was telling you to get your money off of it because you're taking counterparty risk. You're going to lose. It's the opposite of why the blockchain was invented. I was right. They were wrong. But all the scumbag trash maggots that promoted all that stuff, they just continue to operate like it never happened. You know, they're just like, oh yeah, we don't learn. We're not going to learn. I was right. You guys were wrong. Kneel, respect, learn, because I've been telling the truth and spreading it since before you got here. Period. You know, even Michael Saylor. I was promoting Bitcoin when Michael Saylor said it was going to fail like online gambling when they passed the port bill and killed party poker or whatever. It's weird that the government just kills the whole industry with a law with a different name on it. Like Bank Secrecy Act, you have no secrecy. Patriot Act, you have less freedom, etc. You're just like, hey guys, why do you name these the opposite of what they mean? Like, what's up with that? Also, the magic numbers that they choose. You can travel with $10,000 across the border, but every year that $10,000 is worth less until the point where you're not going to be able to cross the border with enough money to buy a cheeseburger because 10K won't buy a cheeseburger. But the people in the government, they're just like, yeah, man, we didn't know inflation existed. So we just write these magic numbers that never update. They don't track inflation. Isn't that funny? What? And you want to go back and find out, like, which specific humans, I'll give you an example. Talking about beating the SEC. The SEC is not a thing. It's a couple humans at the SEC. There's 5 commissioners at the SEC. If they followed their own rules, some portion of those 5 had to vote to bring an action. Which 5 are they? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Was it all 5? Was it 3? Did they miscount? Who knows? We should find out, right? Freedom of Information Act. They can't hide behind investigation privilege or whatever because case closed, homie. Like, the case gone. Bye-bye. So now Freedom of Information Act should allow to find out which of those 5 people decided to bring this silly thing. And then you're trying to assign blame. Like, okay, at this entity, who are the guilty parties and to what degree are each of them responsible? Hard to say. For instance, with this, like, who is the person that chose that 10K limit and why does it never move? And why are these magic numbers all over the place? And who are the people that made those mistakes? And do they ever apologize for it? Has anyone ever held them to account? Like, hey, you made everything in the world worse by not understanding inflation exists and choosing numbers that never update to account for it. Do you feel bad about that? Do you feel sorry about that? Have you ever tried to fix your mistake? Have you ever allocated any of your resources or time to undo the screw-ups that you've made in governance? And there's enough to go around, right? Like, there's bad laws all over the place globally. And I just never see anyone accepting responsibility. It's just like, man, anyway, I'm trying to make the world a better place. Speaking of making the world a better place, I raised $27 million for charity. Didn't give $27 million for charity, raised it. You guys gave $27 million for charity. You guys deserve the credit, and you guys gave your money to an entity or entities that are literally spending it on medical research to try and save your life. I love that. There's a lot of guys that say they support longevity, but when it comes time to raise the old money, they're not doing anything. You guys, me, PulseChain, you, together, raised $27 million for medical research to save lives. Didn't get any press. One news article. No one saw it. No one cared. Life's not fair. So you know what? You gotta. It'll be fair if that research turns out to save some of our lives. That'd be pretty cool. You got to focus on marketing, guys. I can't express it to you enough. If you're not hearing people complain about your ads, no one's probably seeing them, or your message sucks. Because if you're out there advertising a strong message, true message, a wholesome message, the evil, stupid scum of the world will come and yell at you. And I don't think that many people are yelling, because I don't think that many people know you exist. How many people out there know that PulseChain is vastly superior to Bitcoin, has more opportunity, has more features, has better security track record? It's like infinitely superior. How many people know that? Not enough. Not enough. I've been in this industry before it was an industry. I've been in this before Bitcoin had a logo. I've been at this before Bitcoin had fees to transact on its network. I've been at this before you chose seed words to generate a secret phrase. Back when you installed the old Bitcoin wallet, it would just make 100 pairs of addresses and private keys. And if you overwrote it and used more than 100 pairs, it erased the old ones, and you didn't have a backup. You just lost all your money. That's how long I've been at this. So to understand that what we have now is an opportunity vastly superior to what I had when I first got into Bitcoin is amazing. On-chain exchange, ZK, zero knowledge tech, NFTs, communicating, messaging on-chain. Like, bro, we have everything. We have everything. We have so much opportunity. We just need to tell people about it. And it's not a question if people want to participate. We know people want to participate because they buy absolute garbage. They buy absolute garbage. So if you give them the opportunity to buy something that's not garbage, maybe they'll participate. Maybe they'll transact. Maybe they'll associate. Maybe, like, the sky's the limit. You know, this is Turing-complete technology that allows you to program whatever you want. It's a little slow. It's a little expensive. That's a price you pay for true decentralization and immutability and a record of truth. That's a price you pay. And a lot of people want to pay it, you know. I think somewhere within a few months after Hex launched, over 5 years ago, Ethereum was like $88. Yeah, the price is down from $5K, but it ain't $88. It's still $1,800. It's still, you know, an 18 or 20x from then. Well, we're crying with a loaf of bread on our arm, depending on how long you've been at this. So long story short, the news is good. I hope that governments everywhere improve themselves. What more can I do than speak the truth and publish it to you, at great risk to myself, by the way? Look what happened to me personally, because I was willing to make a difference in this world. And look what happens to Donald Trump, and look what happens to Elon Musk, and look what happens to Joe Rogan. If you matter and you're trying to make this world a better place and you're making an impact and people are aware you exist, they're going to hate you. It comes with the game. And you've just got to be able to accept that trade. That just has to be a trade that you're willing to make. And it's a trade I'm willing to make. And that's why I'm here, and I'm proud to be speaking to you guys. And to tell you the truth, everything is far better than it needs to be. It's far better than Bitcoin is or ever was. How is PulseChain currently right now not better than Ethereum? Real question. Does Ethereum have a feature that you wished that you had? What's that feature? L2 stealing your brand? Decentralized mining, like where you give your coins to some entity and then they like stake them and then give you some yield. Like what is the feature? The feature I see that Ethereum has that I wish PulseChain had was good on-ramps. I like that. But minus the on-ramps, I guess they have a good privacy anonymity set for their zero knowledge, privacy tech too. PulseChain doesn't have that. There's only two things I can think of. We've got higher throughput, we've got lower fees, we don't have L2 vampires. I think we have a more decentralized validation network. And I think we only would accept, I believe the PulseChain community and the validators on it would only accept tried and true tested upgrades from Ethereum, but Ethereum doesn't have that privilege. So Ethereum, when it upgrades, has to hope that the testing it did on its testnet worked right. And sometimes it doesn't. Geth just recently pushed an emergency hotfix because people were getting slashed because they weren't signing transactions properly, something to that effect. Check the Richard Hart account, it tweeted about it.
Did he say Geth? I didn't get a chance to look that up. Even after 2 times watching it. I'm not sure what that is, actually.
And I think we only would accept, I believe the PulseChain community and the validators on it would only accept tried and true tested upgrades from Ethereum, but Ethereum doesn't have that privilege. So Ethereum, when it upgrades, has to hope that the testing it did on its testnet worked right. And sometimes it doesn't. Geth just recently pushed an emergency hotfix because people were getting slashed because they weren't signing transactions properly, something to that effect. Check the Richard Hart account, it tweeted about it. So if you had the opportunity, let me put it to you this way. When crypto gets back up and starts making new all-time highs again, what do you think is likely to go up more? PulseChain or Ethereum? Which one's lighter? Which one has a founder that speaks English? I'm making fun of you there, Vitalik. I love that you're focused on privacy tech. I love that you haven't done a Satoshi and disappeared. I love that you are still, battling, and you're still out there working. A lot of people just stop and they disappear. A lot. I'm not one of those guys. Yeah, so I think we have massive opportunity in front of us. Look at PulseX. The guys that bought the Uni token have been getting wrecked by the foundation there over and over. They dangle this thing like, we'll turn the fee switch on. You guys will be able to capture some value. Well, that never happened. But then you look at PulseX and you're like, yeah, that buy and burn function is burning coins like crazy. Is doing what is a superior thing as far as market economics go, right? Like people are deciding to reduce the supply by deciding to run code that destroys coins. Thanks, people that are deciding to do that. That's very nice. Since supply and demand exists, with static or increasing demand, you get increasing price based on lower supply. That's it. So I think PulseX is way cooler than Uni. I think PulseChain is way cooler than Ethereum. Thank you guys for being our testnet. We really appreciate the work that you guys do. Hopefully, we'll be able to give you guys some things that you can adopt as well if you want. But you ignore a lot of my advice. I told you L2s are stupid. You did it anyway. I told you increasing the S load is stupid. You did it anyway. I don't know, man. There's a little bit of cultural difference. Ethereum's dual wielding vaccines. I'm not. There's a little bit of cultural difference. I like safe, secure, non-experimental things, and I'm not willing to push the limit or push the edge or risk security in order to get benefits no one cares about or don't really move the needle. So, long story short, I really do hope the Ethereum price goes up more than most people. I really do hope. I think I care more about the Ethereum price going up than Vitalik. I really do. So, but just like saying the truth about Bitcoin and its technical features, if you're afraid to speak the truth because you're afraid guys aren't going to buy, then we're going to buy anyway. And it's the same with Ethereum. If you're afraid to tell the truth about Ethereum because you're afraid you're going to make somebody mad, bro, stop cucking yourself. They weren't going to buy anyway. So just speak the truth. There's a benefit to doing it. So everything's better than it's ever been as far as technology goes. You've got more features, you've got higher throughput, you've got lower fees. I mean, heck, even Ethereum has low fees now. Let me teach you something about fees. Could every company lower their profit margin to zero if they wanted to? Yeah, sure, I guess, unless you're already losing money, and then zero would look great to you. But if you're making money, you probably could lower your profit to zero. Is that good for your company? Maybe not, because then you can't pay for R&D, or you can't pay for marketing, or you destroy the industry so that other parties don't want to work with you because there's no profit in it left for them, right? There's a reason that a lot of manufacturers globally try to enforce an MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price, because guys have seen what happens when there's really a race to the bottom. And then, whereas you used to make money, now you don't make money anymore. Block space and blockchains are kind of the same thing. If it is true that supply and demand exists, then you, I believe, can underprice blockchain space. And when you price it too low, it ain't great. There's an ideal, a race to zero is not the ideal way for any organization to function that has other goals aside from price. So would you have, I'll give you an example. Would you have preferred Ethereum to cost $1 to send a coin on, but have a $5,000 price? Or would you prefer Ethereum today, where it costs 2 cents to send a coin, but the price is $1,800? Now I'm making an assumption that those two things are directly tied together. That assumption is, specious. I don't even know if that's the right word. It's a big fancy word, $10 word right there. I think they are related. And I think the fees to transact, I think it's a reflective system. The fees to transact go up, people have to buy the coin. If people have to buy the coin, the price goes up. If the price goes up, people like the coin that has the price that goes up. So then they buy it, and then more people need to transact it, and then that moves the prices, and that leaves opportunity for ARB bots, and that leaves opportunity for traders, and people love volatility, and you get this ratcheting magnification effect, which is part of the reason why networks that price all of the other coins that launch in them in the native token have that reflexivity. They all go up together. But if you didn't have that mechanic and you had a token that was successful tied to a stable coin, if that coin became popular, people would have to, this is what happened with Trump coin, by the way. Trump was tied to stable coin on the Solana network. If you wanted to buy Trump, you would take your Solana and trade it for stable, and then the stable would buy the Trump, and you get the Trump, and the liquidity pool would get the stable. But in effect, all it did was sell a ton of Solana for stable. So if you tie coins to stables and they become popular on your network and they don't bring new money from the outside in and they just take the existing guys and get them to buy in, you just basically incentivized a bunch of people to buy stable. And is that why you're in cryptocurrency? To incentivize counterparty risk? Because a stable coin with an admin key that anyone could turn off, not anyone, but an admin or whoever stole his keys from him, could just deactivate your stable or all the stables. That ain't real stable, right? So it's not, the ideal reality for crypto isn't to be sitting in counterparty risk, it's to remove counterparty risk. And yes, we have volatility, but if it's mostly volatility to the upside, man, that's just fabulous, you know? The history of Bitcoin's been mostly go up for 3 years, down for a year, up for 3 years, down for a year.
What do you guys think? It's making some sense. I'm going to go back, listen to this part right here. See what you guys are thinking already. Pups, really quick. How many people we got? We got 3,000 people watching. We only got 16 likes. Everybody reach forward and smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button and hit the belly button. Yeah. Let me see if I found the spot.
If people have to buy the coin, the price goes up. If the price goes up, people like the coin that has the price that goes up. So then they buy it, and then more people need to transact it, and then that moves the prices, and that leaves opportunity for art bots, and that leaves opportunity for traders, and people love volatility, and you get this ratcheting magnification effect, which is part of the reason why networks that price all the other coins that launch on them in the native token have that reflexivity. They all go up together. But if you didn't have that mechanic, and you had a token that was successful tied to a stable coin, if that coin became popular, people would have to, this is what happened with Trump coin, by the way. Trump was tied to stablecoin on the Solana network. If you wanted to buy Trump, you would take your Solana and trade it for stable, and then the stable would buy the Trump, and you get the Trump, and the liquidity pool would get the stable. But in effect, all it did was sell a ton of Solana for stable. So if you tie coins to stables and they become popular on your network and they don't bring new money from the outside in and they just take the existing guys and get them to buy in, you just basically incentivized a bunch of people to buy stable. And is that why you're in cryptocurrency? To incentivize counterparty risk? Because a stable coin with an admin key that anyone could turn off, not anyone, but an admin or whoever stole his keys from him, could just deactivate your stable or all the stables. That ain't real stable, right? So it's not, the ideal reality for crypto isn't to be sitting in counterparty risk, it's to remove counterparty risk. And yes, we have volatility, but if it's mostly volatility to the upside, man, that's just fabulous, you know? The history of Bitcoin's been mostly go up for 3 years, down for a year, up for 3 years, down for a year, mostly.
Jesse says, Pup, smash, destroy the like button. Just destroy the like button. Actually, I know most of you guys are out there in X-Land right now, but everyone watching on YouTube, just reach down and hit that like button. It's got a little thumbs up next to it. Jesse Jonas says, would love your insight on that section, specifically what he means by the incentives and how the Trump coin incentivized the stable. I don't fully get it. I mean, I feel like I get it, as you're trading in your stable. I mean, pretty much you're not adding any value to the network over there, which isn't a bad thing. It is what it is. It is part of that element of crypto. He's definitely trying to design something very different over here on PulseChain. And I'm trying to pick up on something. There's something going on here. Not gonna lie. I might have to watch it later, but
on the Solana network, if you wanted to buy Trump, you would take your Solana and trade it for stable, and then the stable would buy the Trump, and you'd get the Trump, and the liquidity pool would get the stable. But in effect, all it did was sell a ton of Solana for stable. So if you tie coins to stables and they become popular on your network and they don't bring new money from the outside in and they just take the existing guys and get them to buy in, you just basically incentivized a bunch of people to buy stable.
Yeah. Marco, what do we got? 74? 74. We got to get to 100. We got Richard Hart on the screen. We got to do better. We got to do better, pups. Hang on, let me figure this out. What's he talking about? In the meantime, hit the like button.
And is that why you're in cryptocurrency? To incentivize counterparty risk? Because a stable coin with an admin key that anyone could turn off, not anyone, but an admin or whoever stole his keys from him could just deactivate your stable or all the stables. That ain't real stable, right? So it's not, the ideal reality for crypto isn't to be sitting in counterparty risk, it's to remove counterparty risk. And yes, we have volatility, but if it's mostly volatility to the upside, man, that's just fabulous, you know? The history of Bitcoin's been mostly go up for 3 years, down for a year, up for 3 years, down for a year. Mostly. It's been mostly up, which is how you go from something that costs nothing to something that costs near $100,000 today. So I see limited value in talking about Ethereum to the Ethereans and talking about Bitcoin to the Bitcoiners, because the real opportunity is in the unwrecked. And the unwrecked are people that hold gold at all-time highs. And I guess Bitcoin near all-time highs. And I guess the S&P 500 near all-time highs, but I think it's in a pretty good dip right now. No one expected Trump to do the things he did. That was kind of a surprise. So the market's like, yo, what are you doing? Very interesting. Long story short, what we have is amazing. If you guys talk about it, cool. If you don't, I'm willing to bet other people will. The only thing that's missing is marketing, and it's far better than it needs to be. And the opportunity is absolutely gigantic. It's bigger than what you have with Bitcoin, in my opinion. You're up 50% from 4 or 5 years ago. It's not that great. It's better than being down, but it's not like gold at all-time highs. I mean, gold's up 50%. Gold went from 2K to 3,300, 3,400. That's better. I wish you guys could see my hands. I zoomed in too much. I'm using my hands and you can't see them. Unfortunate. I did this old thing like I used to in my very, very first videos, where I use like a triangular kind of light. It makes like an up arrow. So I was like, up arrow, that would make a cool shape in the iris here. What else? Anything else? Prices, Ethereum, opportunity, regulatory certainty. You can work with us or discover new competitors that are very competitive. Your call, guys. I mean, what's the only thing missing? On-ramp, privacy, anonymity set. Maybe margin, some margin trading thing. Oh, by the way, like so many coins that launch just suck, and it doesn't matter if they're on PulseChain. They probably just suck. But like, it's just so suckville. Which is why I talk about so few things, because almost everything sucks. So I don't want to talk about it. You know, another education. If new people come to your chain because they discovered you from some stupid thing, and that new stupid thing is tied to the native coin, then people will have to buy the native coin to get the new stupid thing, and it will lift the prices of all the things on your chain, or attempt to. It will put pressure in that direction. If, however, some stupid thing launches, and new people from the outside aren't coming to buy it, and it's just existing people on the chain already buying the stupid thing, you've got a comparison to make. Who was more likely to have sold those coins and hurt the price? The person that just launched the stupid thing,
30,
or the people that were otherwise holding the coins? Now, I haven't done 100% perfect research, or I guess not that much research at all, but my gut feeling is, for some reason, the people that were holding the coins were more likely to keep holding them than whenever a stupid founder launched some stupid thing and got rich for the first time. It seems like every single time that happens, they nuke the price, and then it sucks for everybody. So like when an exchange online got hacked for $1 billion, and the hackers sold that $1 billion of Ethereum for whatever, that's $1 billion not in the order book waiting to buy. I mean, it's not that simple, but like if a dude sells $1 billion of a thing that you wanted to sell before you sell, the price you're going to get is going to suck. That's what's up. You can't just sell $1 billion of a thing and be like, it's not going to affect me. I'm going to sell after that guy. No, it sucks. Usually, got to wait a while for other people to buy back up that $1.5 billion or whatever. Not an exact science, but supply and demand exists. Supply and demand exists, and it works. And if someone increases the supply to the market by selling it, it hurts the price. Period. If you don't think that's true, go argue with every economics textbook in the history of man ever. The same thing happened like a week or two ago, maybe even just a week ago, where a guy got hacked for 330 million Bitcoin, and it got sold for Monero. I guess the hacker likes anonymity. Apparently, anonymity is a human right. Kind of interesting. Anyway, it lifted the price of Monero, like I think it doubled or something. Maybe it went from like 2 to 400. I don't have the chart memorized. And then it dipped, but it didn't dip back to where it started. I think it dipped, retraced like half of it, and just like picture the chart in my head. But I don't remember the prices exactly. I just remember up and then like down half, retraced half the move. When your coin gets nuked because somebody launched a stupid project and then sold the crap out of it, or it gets nuked because someone got hacked and sold the crap out of it, the price chart and the market and the supply and demand sees those things as the same. It just sees sell. It sees sell pressure. I've occasionally thought of addressing you guys as sell pressure. Hello, sell pressure. How are you today? Whining and crying and complaining while pressing sell? Are you yelling and complaining at people not pressing sell? But I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet. But that's funny. I saw one time a long time ago, I saw a comment that said, beware ever getting a community because they're just a group of people that calls you a scammer anytime the price goes down. I hope our community is better than whatever community that guy was talking about. So look, long story short, all of you guys could disappear and this technology is still going to kick ass and be amazing. The only thing that's missing is the marketing, in my opinion. Absolute garbage is being bought by the billion because people heard about it. So if you guys want to spend your time doing something similar to how I spend my time spreading the good word about free and open source software that could improve the world, there's even a discount for doing it. There's a lot of, having an educational charity that spreads the good word about things that might improve the world is looked upon positively in many jurisdictions. And there's financial incentives, grants, rewards, discounts, tax exemptions, you name it, for charitable things, So if spreading the good word about free and open source software that really could change man's relationship to government, that really could reduce the amount of war in the world, that really could increase efficiency, increase availability, decrease costs, increase features, improve trust. All of these things are what a well-designed and well-used blockchain bring. Now, do a lot of people use it the right way? Absolutely not. A lot of people are very dumb and do very dumb things. But you can't blame the technology for that. A lot of people accidentally shoot themselves. It's not usually the gun's fault. So what else? So I beat the SEC. Opportunity's huge. It's better than it needs to be. Only needs marketing. Is that it? Let me think. Hex, PulseChain, PulseX, pumped out tires. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's no reason I can't do more videos like this if something else pops in my head. So it's good hearing from you guys silently. I'm just going to assume all you guys are out there saying wonderful, beautiful things. So it's good to be back. And I hope to make the world a better place. And I'm glad to hear that the Sense Foundation or Aubrey de Grey's other foundation is using money that was generated and raised by me and PulseChain and you guys in order to make the world a better place. It's really hopefully making an impact that a lot of other people aren't making. And I mean, if I died today, which is unlikely because God, look how healthy I look. It's like, yeah, man, at least I raised $27 million for charity. At least I built free and open source software. I did the best I could. At least I did the best I could to set positive precedent for publishing free and open source software that allows you to publish and associate immutable truth online. It's awesome. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Is there comments? Or is it disabled? Yeah, a lot. It's amazing. Amazing. Everybody smash the like button. The hard man is back. I guess the marketing commences now. But I don't know how often he'll stream. Maybe we'll get one a week. Maybe he'll start ramping up. We don't know what his plan is. I suppose he'll rest for a little bit, catch up on that was a pretty big feat to go through. So a little bit of rest probably needed. That's true. He didn't mention ink, did he? Yo, yo, what's up, Lunacy Point? What's up, Fred? What's up, Not Good God? What's up, Mellow Cryptic? How you doing? Yeah. Video was much needed, wasn't it? It's amazing. It's got a lot of people out there sending him love and congratulations right now. A lot of great energy flowing to him. Well deserved. There's Fontina. I recognize half you guys out there. Those are fast. Yeah. Got a little bit of saltiness in there. It's a little bit. It's understood. Well, the future's full of possibilities. 2 more weeks. Hello, cell pressure. The video was like first day of school meeting. We're in a new era. We are in a new era. It's an absolutely new era. It's a totally different world now. Absolutely, completely new world. Can I type right now? Nice. Very nice. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yo, Mastastico, I'm good, man. I've been pretty good. You guys want to see something cool? Let me go drop the link if anybody wants to join. Some hexagonal shaped charcoal burn up. Let me get the link going here. Where we at? Mellow Cryptic. Who's that? Mellow. Why does that sound familiar? What else we got? So what happened is the Sistine Chapel has now closed because they are going to be voting on the next pope. So this is really interesting. It's called a conclave, and it has just begun. So what happens is when they've found the next pope, they're going to release a big plume of white smoke above the Sistine Chapel, and that's how we'll know they've selected the next pope. Now, just so you guys know, maybe I shouldn't tell you guys this. There was somebody who figured out how many popes there would be like 1,500 years ago or something like that. And they literally figured out exactly how many there would be. And guess what? This next pope, from that count, is the last one that this person had counted, which is a little mind-blowing, considering I think the singularity happens about 2027-ish, and you know, who knows what the machine's going to do with us at that point, right? But this should be the last pope, according to a lot of old people. That's going to be interesting. All right, let's take a deep dive. Let's get into the charts. Let's see what's going on. Did RH call Ethereum testnet? The beginning of the end. It's going to be interesting. Let's see who gets voted for the next pope first. Because apparently there's some, you know, I guess they did also put the list up. Oh, we could do a deep dive just in that. It's really fascinating with the popes. All right. Let's go get it. All right. What is going on? BTC is up here, 96,000. Now, what's really interesting is I drew this when we did this inverse head and shoulders. So I think we were back, I don't know, we were back here quite a while ago, and I drew this, and it's ridiculous. It's almost traced it. Now I could probably go back to the video and pull it up when I actually drew that. You can see where we are right now. And then this was a chart I had from a long time ago. Now I did this chart way back in like February or something like that, and I was messing around with some ideas, and some of the stuff played out. I think this was actually like this or something. But look at this. This is uncanny. I drew this for live quite a few weeks ago. I think it was, the end of April-ish when I drew this. No, was it only April? Yeah, it was. Well, I started it down here, so I guess we had probably started to print this head, or maybe not. Maybe we had just dumped down here. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Beginning of April. So this is a month old when I drew this, and right now we're tracking, I mean, about as good as you can for doing a drawing with a month ago. So I'm going to stick with this one as my thing since it's playing out so far. Now, we could have a little bit of pullback, but I think maybe they hold Bitcoin at a price. Maybe it does come down, but I think they may hold it. They may not let it go too low, which is what I think. Even if the stock market slips, they may just hold Bitcoin at above a certain price range. They're not going to let people on, I'm thinking. Or they really start just continuously pushing Bitcoin up, even coming into the end of the summer or what have you, which is what I was saying. I was saying maybe in the middle of summer, some odd point, they actually do start pushing it up. We don't really know at this point. It's pretty crazy. They're holding rates, as we know. That was decided today, which it is what it is. They know the market's in trouble. Everything is going down. I think the things that are important to know would be the DJT, which is a transportation index, okay? Now, the transportation index is pretty much, don't do that. I hate when it fucking does that. It's an index of everything from freight and like van and airplane travel and everything like that, all the major travel type indexes, okay? Now, it's already come down pretty low. It certainly looks pretty weak. There's no doubt about it. It could just be already bottoming it out, to be honest. Maybe it just hangs out down here. I just ambiguously drew this circle saying, what if? Because this is what happened during the zombie apocalypse in 2020. It has certainly shown weakness. It came down here, and that's going to be my, it's my 300. Bounced off it, went up. That's showing you some strength, but also weakness because it came up to a lower high, went sideways, and then, of course, you got the big drop there, finally, right? So could this just go sideways here possibly, I'm just going off what I see happening over here. Right now, we've already pierced the 300. So it could technically, is it even weaker? You know, does it come up, try to come up, but then it doesn't happen, and then it has that final drop, right? So this is important because this tells you that people aren't ordering shit. Nothing's being delivered. Nothing's being planned to be ordered. Nothing's moving around on a large scale, all right? So this is something that you always want to look at to give you insight of what's happening with the economy. Because when this is weak, it tells you the economy is very weak, okay, the transportation index. You can see 2017, we had that little dipper to 2019, and we kept riding up until 2018, and we were already showing weakness. And then we rode sideways for a bit, you know, around that 200. I'm on the weekly, and then we had that big capitulation finally with the world coming to a stop. So, of course, all transportation came to a halt. You can see what it did back here in 2008, 2009. You made a double top. It came down, pierced the 300. This is when the economy really fell apart. It took from May 5th, 2008 until 2011 to get that price level again. So that was about 3 years, okay? This is the transportation. Now, we're not in a 2008 situation yet. Maybe that comes 2007, 2027-ish, 2026. Maybe it's going to be a little bit later. Maybe we don't even have a little pullback. Maybe we even just chop, you know? You chop, maybe you come down a little bit, does something, but then it comes up, and then hopefully things pick back up. Because we want to see that. We want to see strength coming back into the economy. Of course, that would probably time itself well with quantitative easing. But the Fed is going to wait till they're forced. Of course, you see that with Trump is screaming at them, hey, you need to cut rates. They're well overdue to cut rates. It's obvious to me, and I'm just going to say it, that this has all been planned. I think they know what they're doing. I don't think they're idiots. I think they're brutally intelligent. I think they're doing a controlled demolition so they can bring in the CBDCs. Okay, there, I said it. I think that's the plan. I think to bring in CBDCs, and they're going to do a controlled demolition, and they know when they're going to do it. It's already in the plan. They've got the timing already worked out, and I think Trump obviously he's got to play along with it. But we can tell from the transportation that you can see when it bounces off this 300 in a very strong fashion going back. So this is 2016. This is 2019. It even bounced there really strong. You can see it didn't even touch it here in 2022. And we rode up. But you see we've pierced it already, okay? Now, even though we've somewhat recovered, it's still, to me, you know, a show of weakness. And looking at other numbers, and I'm not going to get into everything, you guys should know some of what we're looking at, unemployment, et cetera, job market, housing, everything like that. There is a bit of a slowdown. It doesn't mean we're going into a depression. I'm not saying that. I mean, anything's possible. I don't know. But this is signaling something's wrong because it's not getting back above the 300, okay? And you should see that. You can see the ones I showed you in the past, how quickly it would bounce. Because our economy is massive, and it's very strong. I mean, you know, America is America. You can see how fast it bounces off these levels, right? Anytime there's something shaking the economy that's scaring markets, it bounces. Like, look at these wicks. Look at these wicks on the weekly, just right off the 300. Bam, right off that 300, okay? I mean, like crazy. Okay, here's, this was coming out of GFC, right, in 2008, so we still had 2012 and a little bit of squirrely moments there. But when you come over here to where we are now, you can absolutely see we're not getting a V-shaped bounce off that 300. As a matter of fact, we came below it, we've come up, we got right above it, and we've fallen below it again, which is not a good sign at all, okay? Which is not a very good sign at all. So I'm keeping my eye on this. Obviously, something's up, but they're not going to do anything till something breaks, and I think that's what they have in mind. Either they already know something's going to happen. Maybe India and Pakistan right now are going at it. You know, I'm sure they're aware of that. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something internally in the U.S. they know, or something in the banking structure, something they already know. There's no doubt in my mind because he's holding it. That way they can blame it on whatever event happens that, oh, look, well, the banking sector, blah, 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 you know, we need to print money and make a CB, whatever they have for their reasons to do it, right? But we got to keep our eye on that. That's an issue. Another thing you can look at is the gold to silver ratio. All right. Now, why does gold to silver ratio matter? And guys, just so you know, I always look at key indicators. I don't look at frivolous stuff. I have a pretty good eye as to what works here. Gold and silver ratio matters because people in times of trouble, of course, you know, they buy gold. Gold is rallying. We know that. That's great. It's already gone beyond what's going to. I have targets up here at 3,750 and 4,100 on gold. I don't know when we'll reach those targets. But why the gold and silver ratio matters? Because when gold outperforms silver by a lot, it means people are dumping, they're getting rid of silver, and silver is used in manufacturing, which also is an indicator that the demand for silver is declining massively. That's why you don't need to look at the gold chart. That's for peasants. I want you guys to look at the gold-silver ratio, because that tells you the health of the economy and the state of actual big money, like what they're thinking, okay? Because people are dumping silver right now, and they are buying gold. That's not a good sign. And I can show you last time we had these spikes. This one's up here. This is zombie apocalypse right here. Manufacturing comes to a stop. You can come back here to 2008. Once again, gold-silver ratio goes through the roof. And then, of course, everything just died because we know what happened in the big major crash. But you can see here, if I zoom in, I'm on the weekly still. It had pumped up, but then it came down, and I was like, okay, maybe we're fine. But now it's pumping back up, okay? Now it's coming back up big time, all right? And it looks bullish, okay? At least for now. Okay, you can see here on the daily, it had turned down. And this is what I was looking at back in April. And I was like, okay, I'm keeping my eye on this, okay? Because we got this cross, this is the daily. We've come down, we have turned again. You can see down here what's happening, okay? This ratio is getting bullish, and this is my concern. This is one of my major concerns right now, because this tells you a lot about the economy. And we take this and you take the transportation index, you've got a big picture of, are things shipping? Are things being bought? Is freight moving? Is manufacturing happening? Yes or no? And at the same time, people are buying gold. So big money probably knows something, okay? This looks very bullish now on the gold-silver ratio. You see this W now that has formed, beautiful big W. This move may not be done. And you can see, obviously, this MACD is turning over. If we go to the weekly, you can see, whoops, sorry, there we go, I'll get rid of that. Come over here to the, let's go look at the monthly really quick on this. It's just, look, it's just, let me show you this. Okay, pumping straight up into the sky. This is the zombie apocalypse. This was in 2015, and this was the GFC. Okay, so you can see when it does this, it usually does this before trouble. Now, if you guys appreciate this content, if you like this alpha, smash the like button. I do a tremendous amount of research for you guys. And what I do is I consolidate it down to what I think is important, what I think matters. The problem I have with a lot of people is they just throw tons of data at you guys. It's not going to help. These are the charts that matter the most, okay? And this gold-silver ratio only moves like this during certain times, and it's moving right now, okay? And this was here, zombie, once again. This is bullish, okay? So now, my measured move for all this is up here at about 105, which we've hit, and we're 103. Now, are we just going to hit it and be done, or is this going to keep pumping up? Well, it still looks bullish to me. Maybe we could go past this, but either way, it looks like some kind of slowdown is ahead. And I don't think it'll be long-lived, because I do feel we've already been in a type of recession for this last year. I think everyone's aware of it. I think QE is going to matter, and them getting in position for with the CBDCs could be a contributing element as well. And I think we could just be 4 to 12 months away from an epic bull run for alts and Ethereum. And Ethereum will run as well, but it'll probably feel like it's dying, of course, like it has been. But that's always, you know, a good sign when things are about to turn around. That being said, depending on how bad some of these factors get, will determine, you know, how much time is involved and about how much possibly lower things will go. That being said, we could still get a big juicy pump in the meantime. Let's go look at USDT dominance. Once again, everybody smash the like button. Hope you guys are really appreciating this alpha. Let's see. Okay, so we've been looking at this for a while. Down is good. That means people are moving out of stables into risk assets in the crypto market. And, we've been rejected here. We weren't moving up. We're certainly moving. The market's getting bullish again. Once again, people are holding stables. Dumping their stables. There's no doubt about it. Hopefully, we want to see this fall away. But it's a little indecisive right now. I can't say for sure. Maybe we just get this rally, but this could absolutely break up to the upside at any time. This W is very strong. Another one of these W's, once again, got a retest. Makes sense. Sometimes these do this. Now, it doesn't have to. Narrative can change, and hopefully we get a drop to the downside. But I'm just compiling a ton of data here for you guys. Not a ton. I've whittled it down already to what I think is important to look at. So once again, just to recap, gold-silver ratio. Don't just look at gold. Look at the gold-silver ratio. A very important chart. You guys should look. And look at the first one I showed you, which is the Dow Jones Transportation Index. Very important. Okay, very important. Just take a look at that to give you an idea of what's going on. Let's look at SPX really quick. Okay, this is S&P really quick. All right, I've been charting this for a while. You guys know I think there's another wave up. Okay, another big wave up. That's why I don't think the economy crashes now, no matter what anybody tells you. I think we got another big run up. I don't know how high we're going to go. I think I had it at 89. I don't remember. But it'll go higher than we think, and we realize this is taking us to January 2027. I do believe this bull run's going to go a lot longer than people think. I do think that we're going to have a hiccup here, which I talked about all the way back in November, that we're going to have like a type of double bull run. And like I said, maybe it's 4 months, maybe it's 12 months. I don't know how long the hiccup's going to be. I don't know what they have planned, right? No one knows that for sure. But we're going to have a hiccup here, and then we're going to have the most mind-blowing altcoin season, Ethereum run I think we've ever seen, and that's going to be in here. Now, are we done? Is this the pullback? Was this it? I don't know. But when I look at the gold-silver ratio, I don't want to lose where I had that point, 47.50. So I do think we could have some more leg down. This puts me at the beginning of July, which I think I said even back in January. I said the lows could come in the middle of summer, which could make sense. And then maybe we just kind of flatline or start moving up slowly into the fall. And then catalysts should start coming, maybe QE announcements. They've already done a rate cut or two by then, by the fall. And then we start moving up into 2026 in a pretty big way, hopefully. Like I said, 4 to 12 months. I have no idea yet what that range is going to look like. You know what I mean? I think more it's going to be shorter than longer, but I don't know yet. Now, I want to show you really quick what this purple box is. This purple box, this was a Trump announcement right here. This is a Trump announcement here. Tariff, what was it called? Freedom Day or something? What do they call it? Chad, help me out. He called it something, right? Tariff was like American Rehabilitation Day or something. What was it? So it was announced right here, okay, and then we fell. Okay, I think tariffs were announced right here. All right, and now we've pushed up, okay, all the way to here. And the reason I have this purple box here is because I didn't think we'd get higher than the announcement. We're getting a retest of when this was announced and when we capitulated, okay? We're getting a big, juicy retest right there. So, my thinking is, obviously, anything's possible. Of course, we could, come down, test it, break through, and go. That would be amazing. But looking at the DJT and everything, it is possible they could trudge us sideways and bring us down to here, which I think will get a lower low with some bearish divergence, maybe, and then we'll start to push up. This will be whatever breaks, if that happens. But, of course, we could absolutely come up, make a lower high, make a double top before we come down. Who knows what could happen, right? We're going to keep an eye on it. But that's where we are right now. That's why I pulled back here. Makes sense. We're retesting the Trump Liberation Day. Thanks, Lunacy Point. That's right. This was Liberation Day right here. All right. You can see these gaps. Massive capitulation right there. It was a massive move on the S&P. Okay. But volume is incredibly thin on trading. Incredibly thin. I think it's set records for how thin it is. That tells you that there's no liquidity, and this could... Yeah, not a good sign at all either. But still, it could absolutely pump because of that low liquidity, as you guys know, and low volume. We could absolutely move up again and attempt some higher prices, or, of course, in BTC as well. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if BTC dominance, though, takes it for the time. What's up, Lucky Luke? Let me see here. What else I want to show you? Palantir, double top on Palantir. Is that an omen, a warning? I exited my Palantir at 123.50 cents. I exited right there, right at the top. I dumped my whole bag. So there's no moon bag for me. So I'm out right there, 123.50. Double top. It gapped down hours after I exited that position. It gapped down. I think it could pump up to try to fill it if we get a little bit of the rally into the end of this week. But I think it's done. And that tells us a little bit about what's going on, right? If it goes up for new highs, then I'll have to find another trade. But let's see, where are we at? Meta also attempted where it started its capitulation. Massive gap up there. It'll probably come down to fill it. I exited all my Meta through here. I DCA'd out, and it did come back and test once again Liberation Day. Yeah. All right, let's go look at crypto. All right, let me see if there's anything else that I think would help us right here. Yeah, let's just look. We looked at BTC. We can look at ETH really quick and ETH BTC. So let's see here. Oh, shit. Has the chart been that little for you guys? You guys got to tell me. All right. It's probably because it's cold in here. That's why. Okay. Some say the charts look very bearish. Point forward next. What do you guys sold the bottom? Retail is buying while institutions sold the bottom and are staying out. Yeah, it seems to be retail's insiders. So I don't have everything for you guys, but I was looking at charts of insider trading. This would be people at the company, executives, what have you. They are not buying. They are not buying, and they were selling. That's usually an indicator because they know stuff, right? So these are all your corporate executives, CEOs. Yeah, they're not buying right now. So that's another indicator. I don't like this song. What else we got? I don't like this. Nah, I don't like this. What do we got? Some chill. ETH is looking good in some ways. I mean, could be making a type of inverse head and shoulders, but it's done that so many times at this point. You know what I mean? Like all over this chart is inverse head and shoulders. And, it's controlled. And I think that's what I was saying by there's somebody controlling a lot of the major levers on this market right now. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to... I'm not going to pretend to make a call on this right now. We've got a ton of targets. We've got obviously a really nice dragonfly, beautiful bullish doji there on the monthly. ETH technically has been just cranked down for so long. It's just ready to pop. It could. But if there's still a time thing here in terms of what they want to have play out, maybe they're waiting for, like I said, something that they know is already going to break or something that they have planned already, and then they can say, okay, let's do an emergency rate cut. That may be how it goes. You know what I mean? Because I feel that possibly Powell doesn't want to take the blame for anything, and they already know what's going to happen anyway. So they're going to allow that thing to happen, their plan to unfold, and then they can do an emergency rate cut, whatever. And then eventually we'll know that QE may be a few months away. We'll know that, right? If they start rate cuts, we know that maybe within 3 months they could be having QE, right? So, do they hold this here or do they allow it? Right now they're just holding this big beach ball under the water, right? And as soon as they let their hands off it, it's just going to go nuts. There's no doubt in my mind. But maybe they just keep it sideways. It doesn't need to go much lower. They could just hold it and keep it keep it going sideways. But we could come down and retest these low at 1,300, and then 1,200 is a place we don't want to break. We don't want to break 1,100, 1,200. It'll start to get messy after that. But I'll cross that bridge when we get there. If we get back around the 1,300 range, we'll go back and we'll look at that. I don't want to. I don't want to think about that right now. Let's go look at ETH BTC. Nothing's changed. It's down here. You guys have seen me draw this a million times. Back in 2019, we were at 0.016. We almost hit that. I think we hit 0.017, right? No, we hit this. This was what I had as an idea. Yeah, 0.0178. And this was just a fractal of what happened back in 2019. Just made a W, and maybe we're going to chop. Maybe BTC does something, it comes down, does a double bottom here, just like it did back in 2019, and then it goes. But it can absolutely come a little bit lower. It can come back at least to where it was back in 2019, 0.016, can be a little bit more. But at some point, I think we're forming this big W here. And, maybe we get something like that down here, a little W. In this bigger W that I'm hoping is what is forming. We certainly don't want to see this really start to get weak. But I guess you do have a lot of support down here at 0.01. It could be 1/10 the price of Bitcoin. What's that? No. What's it? Yeah, 0.011. Jeez, not 1/10. Only 1%. And then you got some support down here at about 007, 0.007. But maybe we just hold this range here, fingers crossed. Once again, this is crushed too. You can see the RSI for the ETH BTC ratio is all the way down at 24 in 2019. We have come all the way down to 23.5. I mean, it's in the red. I mean, how often do you see the RSI turning red at the bottom? So technically it's a buy. Technically alts are this is where you'd want to be buying your alts, your ETH. Of course, there's some other, we can look at the alt total value and what have you. But, these are all good indicators that a healthy upside for ETH and alts is coming. I mean, this is 23.5. I mean, this is crazy. Now, of course, yeah, it could come down a little bit lower, really scare the living daylights out of everybody. But then the move up is going to be brutal, right? It's going to be amazing. It's just going to be crazy. And you can see, if you see back here in 2019, how RSI came to 24, and then it started a swift move to the upside, right? Very swift after it had been crushed down. So I definitely expect something like that to happen again. I think what it'll be, and why I say this time period, is that's what's going to exhaust people. It doesn't mean it has to go lower. I just think people are going to get emotionally tired by thinking it's going to happen now, it's going to happen tomorrow, and I think they may just keep it off a little bit longer than people expect. Maybe it goes to the middle of summer, maybe it goes to the fall, and then they let us go. But we don't know. I don't know what their plan is. Maybe they start it in the middle of summer. Maybe something's going to happen now, and all this is going to play out sooner. Do you think Vitalik looks at this? Yeah, he probably does. I don't think he cares though, but no, he does care. I mean, look, it's still his project. He wants it to do well, and he knows he takes a lot of shit from BTC people, right? So I'm sure he wants to. PulseChain, what's going on? $230 million market cap. Let's come over here. Let's have a decent sized chart here. What is this? Oh, I think let's see. Yeah, it looks like we're printing inverse head and shoulders here, but looks to me like the target is going to take you up to here, which you got a lot of resistance. You've got this level here. Let's see, break or retest. I think it was there, the retest from there. Yeah, you got a bit of confluence there. Shit. Come here. But, yeah, we've played out to the end of this pennant, okay? And you can see where we are now at the end. Now, you've definitely got a lot of support below us. You've definitely got some levels we can hit. Let me get rid of this right now. If you see this W here, I mean, it's not a W yet, but we came down, we've come up, we've fallen lower. And if you look back at the drawing I made back here, this is from January 6, 2025. I just want to show you really quick. January 6, 2025. I drew this live for you guys, and look what I drew. And the time also I drew end of March, March 24th. Now I was just guessing back. This was months ago. I was guessing, but I was seeing this based on what I was seeing and how, you know, I look at so many charts. And I drew, I'm pointing the finger at it, that there was a leg down and then a lower leg down. Okay, you guys see that, right? And you can see if I come here to the pulse chart, we formed the first half of what I drew. Now, is this leg going to come up and, you know, do that last bit, you know? And we could go sideways too, absolutely. Or are we ready to break out now? But the first half of this is absolutely played out, which is breaking down under this. Now, what it did though is it came up higher than the old support, but it looks like it's dropping back down again. Okay, we got this big green candle here, and this had to do with all the narratives with the case and everything. But now we've fallen down, got a little bit of a pump, but it seems like most people who bought Pulse have already bought, right? And if we have a slowdown, you know, we have to think about buyers. Now, there's still people waiting on the sidelines too, of course, that have capital to deploy. But are there sellers left? That's what it comes down to, really, right? Because if you think about it, most people that have sold, or whales or what have you, they've sold already, right? People have exited. Some people sold when we got back up to SAC area or close to it, and obviously people were dumping through here. As we made these highs, people sold. Are we out of sellers, or are there some sellers still waiting? And really that is the big unknown, right? Who's going to sell? Or is a market maker going to be releasing some, going to be putting some pressure on us too, right? Follow the money. Every time I join the stream, I see this. Nice. We're looking at the pulse chart, man, and it's playing out. Look at that. It's fucking interesting. PulseX. Where? Oh. Nice. So PulseX was doing great. And it is still doing great. It's fallen out of this support it was on for a long time. It's come up into the range above the support, and that's good. That's good. But it's not showing a ton of strength right now. You know, I think there's just a bigger. I think people are waiting as well to see what narrative plays out here going forward. Are we going to get a bit of weakness in the economy now, or are they going to be able to hold it off longer, and we're going to have major upside into the summer? You know, we could easily pump May and into June. We could. And I think that's what I see when I look at these charts. It seems to be like a lot of people just seem to be waiting to get some handle on what the bigger thing looks like. Because, when you have, $1,000, it's one thing. When you have 10,000, it's another. When you're talking about 100,000, it's a little bit of a different game. And when you're talking about bags that are 100,000, a million, you better believe they are looking at things like probably transportation index, silver gold ratio, jobs reports, what's going on with all that. And yeah, so those bigger players are paying attention to some of that as well. And if we're going into something and price does push up, would there be a lot of sell pressure? There's definitely timing this might be smart as well. Meaning this chart from January. No, I hear you. Yeah. Because the timing was like uncanny. I had just pulled up a pulse chart. What's your price target for Hex end of month? Oh man, nah. There's no way. Now, like I almost trust my drawings I did months ago and weeks ago than what I could do now. Because if volatility goes crazy or it's unexpected events happening, then, charts don't matter as much. Fear and greed start to matter the most, Rice or Quad. Like if people are scared, if nukes start flying, they're just dropping major bombs there. Between India and Pakistan. And somebody I talked to was like, yeah, they're probably going to escalate, right? They've both been dying to kill each other for a long time. But let's see what happens, right? You've got that. You've got whatever's happening internally, maybe banking this and that. Like, who knows? But if your transportation is slowing down to the way it is, and also nothing's happening at the ports as well, then all this is going to catch up to us here in the next couple weeks, even if we get a little bit of a rally. And I think people are aware of that, right? So it's very difficult to really draw anything now. So I'm more likely to just trust my intuitions from weeks ago. Like, for example, I drew this ink chart way back, once again, beginning of April, when we didn't know much and I was having fun. And so far, it's tracked it. I drew this live. I haven't touched it. It's right here. You can see it's just been going sideways. Maybe I missed a little bit of this upside here, but it's doing exactly what I drew, which was going up this trend line. And then my intuition was telling me then, probably because I've seen this pattern before, that we'll get a drop at some point, we'll get a lower low, but then, the hope was that maybe that's a big reversal we get there. Or we just go sideways, or, we get a surprise pump to the upside, right? So this is ink. Right now we're at $1.41. This is 88 cents is a target down here. I also have a line down here at 61 cents. Reversals sometimes happen at odd spots, but you could get a wick to maybe 89 cents or 62 cents. Or, obviously I think 40 cents is still a possibility, only because we've touched it before. You could get a double bottom. That would be that moment when whatever said thing breaks, or the Fed actually cuts because they're forced to, because some crisis or whatever, right? Because let's say the shelves start going empty in stores in a few weeks because they're not delivering anything. Well, there'll be panic, and then finally the Fed will be forced to like ease things up for everybody, right? And that also has to do with this tariff war, whatever. But it seems like in the short term, prices are going to go up. Manufacturers aren't going to pay for shit, right? So in a way, we're being taxed. But in the long run, it's probably better, because it gives companies in America are retooling. They're figuring out how to do things that were being done by China before. These are all great things, but they don't happen in a month. They do take a little bit of time. Like if you're retooling, if you're fixing your assembly lines, if you have to get new materials from different sources, these things are logistical nightmares, but they can be done. They just take a little bit of time. Anyone knows logistics. It's a very complex thing just to make one thing. You know what I mean? Like these days, like, I don't know what I got on my desk. I have like one of these things, just like randomly. So many parts in this, right? Like everything has to be brought together, and it can be done, and it will be done. I think it'll be good in the long run. But in the short term, price of things will go up, and/or things just won't be available for a little bit, which will cause inevitably, some panic, and/or put pressure on something, or some aspect of the banking structure that causes some problem. Pump is real. Ari showed his face because he had to hide the guns he's been working on. I read that as you are not convinced. I am convinced. I think we will do a 10,000x. I really do. I think Inc. will easily do a 10,000x. I think that PulseChain, I mean, if it goes really low, could, but you might get 1,000x on PulseChain, because when it comes down to whatever that low could be, right? Do I believe it's now? I don't know. Yeah. I got to trust my intuition from back here. I'm gonna trust it. I've been going. Oh shit! Did my camera die? What the fuck? My camera died. Lost camera. What can I do in the meantime? Why is there no power on the camera? What's going on? If I plug it in here, does that work? Do I have a backup camera? Let's see something. Yo, what's up? Got somebody here in the green room. Oh, you already got in. All right, let me know when you're set up. All right, let me throw this up for now. Oh, you know what I can turn on? I think I have a camera here in my phone. Yo, what's up, brother? How you doing? Yeah, man. Really exciting. Let's see. No. I lost my camera. Well, this is your timing's perfect because you can be the face on the screen too. Let me screw this chart over.
That is the reason for my timing.
Your timing's amazing, man. Like, absolutely amazing. Like, how did you know? You're like, he's...
Because I sabotaged you.
Ah.
So that I could get my face on the screen. Working on it for months. Team of hackers.
Good stuff, man. Good to see you.
Thanks. How about these Richard Hart streams, eh? That's great.
Yeah, we just watched the whole one. People, I mean, it's pretty... Do you think he's going to keep streaming?
Hell yeah. Like, he's probably not supposed to stream right now as per his lawyers. I could be completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you know, he's doing that. I think after the 60 days is up where the SEC can no longer appeal at all,
Mm-hmm.
Which is in, like, June, I think we're going to see live streams, interacting with audiences, on with influencers, that sort of thing. So I think this is just the tip.
It's just a tip.
He's coming in hard. It's gonna be shocking. And like we saw the effect, right? Like, and like he streamed my time at like 1 a.m. or something. Like it was late when I noticed anyway. Like imagine if he came on, you know, at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., right? Like, you know, like, or he went on with Crypto Rand, like who. Did a clip on him like in his show and mentioned it more than once.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I can share that if you want. It's actually pretty cool.
What did he say?
He basically was like he pulled up like the crypto bubbles and he's like showed like Pulse X and Pulse and stuff like that were flying and that Richard is back and that he made a video and that he watched all of the video and then he played clips from Richard's video. It was you know, quite impressive.
Whoa, that's amazing, man. That's really great to hear.
I got a link to it here on Twitter. I'll find it. But like, you know, like he's one of the guys who would probably have Richard on his show, right? Like, and whose show Richard would probably agree to go on. So like, you know, like that's a huge potential ally for the ecosystem. I think people should treat him with some respect. And see if we can get him on the team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He does big numbers.
Absolutely.
He's got just about 1 million followers.
Absolutely.
I think I'll follow him.
You don't follow Crypto Rand?
Well, I didn't until just now. I'm very PulseChain centric.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Or I dropped a link to the clip in the chat if you want to play it.
Yeah, let's do it. Definitely want to see it. Yeah, so people were asking me for price targets, and I'm like, look, it's just absolutely impossible right now. Like, I'm always one to just start drawing on the screen and tell you guys, like, you know, my intuition's telling me and what, you know, but now it's absolutely like really difficult, but we'll still look at the charts when we come back here.
Yeah, well, there's these outside elements, right? Like how can you predict what Richard Hart's going to do next? Because obviously that's a huge factor. You'll need like a special tool for that one.
Yeah, what he's going to do, how he's going to relate or react to the market, what actually is going on here. You know, what's this game the Fed's playing? Like, what are they waiting for? Do they know something's about to break? What's going on, right? Like, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
But this is awesome. Let's go. Faster Boo, share this post if you want Crypto Man Rand to have Richard Hart win on his show. Soon there'll be a lineup of mainstream influencers who want to interview the boss. That's correct. All right, let's listen to this.
let's look at the altcoins. So, I mean, a little bit of a green day today. Like a little bit of a green day today. Some moves, stacks up to 12.41%. Pulse. You know, Pulse and Hex, I think I saw Richard Hart actually did a stream. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the reason why Pulse is probably going up is because it seems like Richard Hart is back. I think I actually listened to his stream this morning. You know, I listened to everything.
Hey, Richard Hart here. Guess who just beat the SEC in court and did not settle and did not have their case dropped? This guy. Me. I did that. And you know why I did that? Well, 1, I'm innocent. 2, I've got great lawyers. 3, the government decided to bring a really stupid case against a really honest person. And guess what happened? The judge saw through it and dismissed the case in its entirety, something that almost no other cryptocurrency has ever achieved. And they didn't just charge me. They charged me, Hex, PulseChain, PulseX. They actually charged software as a defendant. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine math that you can run at home and execute on your own?
So Richard Hart is back, and that's why Pulse and Hex are actually moving.
Nice.
There we go.
Love it.
Richard is back.
The man is back.
Yeah. And I think that's huge. Like we need that central figure, right? Like I know he doesn't work for us, and we should have no expectations and all those disclaimers, but
yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
No. What do you think about what he said about marketing?
I tend to take that stuff with a grain of salt. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think maybe he's talking generally marketing. I think people have been working really hard. There's no doubt about it. I mean, obviously, everything is just wrapped up now, so you're getting all this positive attention is coming to PulseChain from the bigger, greater community. So more eyes are on us. I don't think it was anything per se we could have done until the case ended anyway. Now that the case is ended officially, he won. You can now gauge how well our marketing is doing, right? Because now when we do something, the greater crypto community is happy to come look at it now. Because like, good, the SEC thing's over. They won. Let's go look what's going on over there. They're genuinely interested now once again, right? Because the truth is, the price is crushed down. And, you know, these people are all looking at like, hey, maybe there's great opportunities over here, which there is. You know, are they really concerned about the tech and all that? What matters is that they're just interested in the chain right now, right? And and once people come over here and they see there's opportunity and they start using it, then I can expect them to go like, hey, this is pretty cool. I like it. You know what I mean? And then hopefully they start talking also about how cool the tech is and how great everything works and all those other features.
The community, once they start engaging with the community, they'll be like, oh my God, you guys are crazy. This is awesome, right? Like, think if you came from like Polygon or something and you're like, nobody talks about Polygon. You know, they have their stuff or whatever, but then you come over here and you like, you use, you know, some protocol, you buy and sell on PulseX, and then you go somewhere to ask for help. And like people are dropping you videos and like you have like this huge interaction, you know, or you say like, oh, I just came over from Polygon, you know, like this is interesting. We have something similar. Like how many people would engage with you on Twitter, on, you know, on Telegram, like it would be huge. Some of those people would be scammers, so watch out for that. But you know, like it's gonna be a huge impact on the market. And those green bubbles that Rand was showing, millions of people see those. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, that's huge.
Like that's the greater crypto market.
Yep.
There we go.
So we got our nice big pump. Everything's been pumping. Everything's in the green. And of course, we're completely standing out. And he's not deleting our bubbles anymore, right? So that was a big deal. A lot of people were pissed. But, you know, these guys are the bigger level. They're all concerned about liability and all that stuff, right? So you see now that the SEC case is over, hey, they're like, look, hey, check it out. And so this is great. This is amazing.
Yep. We should have Rand on the show.
Yeah, we should have Rand on the show. I think we'll come on the show.
Yeah.
He seems like a great guy. He totally seems like a guy I'd want to meet. He's been going nonstop too, right?
Yep. Yeah, he shows up for work.
Yeah.
I don't mind him. I catch his stuff once in a while.
Mm-hmm. RH poll time. What's more, a user agreement update? What? What else we got? Let me see. Go look at.
Did you see? There was news that Donald Trump reversed the export on chips, like on like from NVIDIA and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I did, and I think a lot of people had talked about that a week ago. Like I was talking to some people, and we were like, yeah, probably come next week around the FOMC, they'll to get some strength back in the markets. He'll announce that they're coming to an agreement, and then exactly like right on time, he's like, yeah, we're da 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 da. It is like a big play, you know, that they all have going here. Let me check really quick. What's going on with DJT? Let's go look here. Yeah. See what happens. We could continue to go into May, no doubt about it. Or we could just chop sideways for a little bit. Now, this gentleman, I don't know who it is, Carry Campfire, Mad Max Trader Boy. It popped up in my Twitter, and I thought it was pretty cool. So just play it really quick. He made like a little video.
The founder of PulseChain, PulseX, OddHex, just defeated the SEC in court, something that no other founder in crypto history has ever done. I want you guys to understand this isn't just a win for Richard Hart. It's not just a win for the guys with buys in PulseChain, but I think it's a win for everybody involved in cryptocurrency who believes.
I just realized I don't know if I can play it. Can I? Is that music famous?
Chain, and guess what?
You guys can read it. Sorry, Carry Campfire.
To launch all PulseChain, or even to go all in on PulseChain, not financial advice.
Fast. They're saying you're muted. Were you trying to talk? No, he muted himself. Or were you trying to talk?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to follow this guy too if he's making good videos. Why not?
Yeah, nice work, Carry Campfire. Sorry I had to mute it there. I didn't know if that music was cleared, and then I lose the whole video.
PulseX, OddHex, just defeated the SEC in court, something that...
But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It was really high quality. Seems like a nice guy. I've never seen him before, so shout out to Carry Campfire. I think I just followed him as well. So he's like a cosplayer, turning breadcrumbs into millions. Get rich or get wrecked. He's into PLS, Teddy, and PTGC. So he's probably from, I'm guessing from, must be from B-Roots family over there.
Could be.
Let's see. Sack bag, 309 million. Right now it's down. It's only down 336.5 million right now. Got a little bit to go. We did the ETH chart earlier. Hopefully we're about, maybe they just hold it in this range until they're done with their timing. Obviously the Fed and the SEC and everybody, they got their own timing. Like I said earlier in the video, a lot of the stuff is already pre-planned. They know what's coming. They know the timing of this market already, what have you. Go here to look at, oh, Hex. Somebody's asking Hex. Let's see what Hex. Yeah, big juicy pump here in Hex. 25% move. Really nice. Did I lose? What's going on here? Oh, hang on. Maybe I got too much stuff open. So hang on. Let me close some stuff. Damn.
Yeah, Hex had a nice pump. They all did, of course, but Hex has a lot of liquidity, so it's kind of matters. It's easier to pump ink than Hex.
Hang on, I'm just closing some stuff. That's all I'm doing. Let's get some stuff closed out of here. While I'm at it, everybody subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button if you're not. Let me see if my camera's charged up. Let me try to plug it in. I have
I'm a bit cold right now. I've been coughing lately.
Yeah. What's the temperature where you are?
Oh, it's a lovely 17 degrees out today. That's why I'm not wearing the
17?
suit jacket.
Oh, wow.
It's too hot.
Am I back?
You are oh, you're back. Look at that.
I'm back. All right, it says it's 10%, but I plugged it into the main computer this time, so maybe it holds charge. Everybody smash the like button. Let's see, maybe that'll bring us good luck. Everything will start working here. Where's everybody watching from? Everybody's watching from X? Yeah, most of you guys coming in from X. Charts are not loading right now. Come on, buddy. All right, let me come back to this. Let's try another chart. Sometimes it does this. Maybe I got too much open down here too. Oh, they're just not opening. Let's give it a second here. Reset chart view, click right. Thank you, sir. There we go. Ink Maxi, you're amazing. So we're in this falling wedge, okay? This is Hex, USDC, and it's getting uncanny. Like it literally did that move where it came down, scooped, retested, which is what I drew right here. You can see that. Like, I mean, of course I had here, but you can see it did exactly as I drew. So my thinking was only because I was looking at the DJT and all the things like a month ago too. So I was thinking that we're going to have this thing. And I mentioned this before all the way back in November that we could have this double bull run where there's this little break in the middle. They don't allow a depression to happen or a big market crash, but they allow some event to happen, whatever that is, so they can have an excuse to bring in CBDC, and then they crank ETH and altcoins and everything just moons. And that's the final blow off top of the bull run. But they don't have to do CBDCs before this bull run over. But my guess was that they will, and they're going to break something and have that as an excuse to bring it in. So when I was charting all this, I already had that in mind. You know what I mean? That we're going to have something that brings everything back down. That would be probably the bottom of this falling wedge, and then we would bounce and break out of here and start moving to the upside. See like a beautiful inverse head and shoulder. I can already see that in my mind's eye forming for the future. And I'm still sticking to this right now because everything else has been playing out that I've been charting lately. So I'm just going to trust it. You saw my BTC chart that I did back 1 month ago.
Yeah.
You saw that earlier? Like,
yeah, I was watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's tracked that price action incredibly well. So this is what could happen if we don't start. Obviously, we could start pumping in May and June. I mean, we could be starting the bull run. Who knows what they have planned, right? But I'm not short any of this stuff, so I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I'm ready for any outcome. Let's go look at PHEX right now. But like I said, we're looking at macro things right now. It's not like everything's just coasting and I'm charting it like normal. I'm at a place right now where I'm looking at everything precariously, where I'm like, all right, the macro is much bigger at this point. I really don't know. Even with the SEC case done, obviously, if the macro wasn't the way it was, we would be just pumping green candles right now, right? You guys get that, right? It would be pretty nonstop.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It wants to. It's like it wants to, but it doesn't quite have that final confirmation, right?
Yeah. Now, what did I draw here? Okay, so I thought we would come up here and touch this, and we didn't. We broke down. We've come here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that now. So that didn't... See, I'm not always right. But when I am, I'm
only 95% of the time.
But when I am, it's pretty uncanny. So we broke down, got a nice W, got a little W, a lot of bullish action. People are buying it. RSI looks beautiful. There's bullishness in Hex. I mean, it is ready to go, and it is beautiful. Now, we've retested a bit of resistance here. I think what happens is dependent on bigger things that we've been talking about here. Now, we can come up here to this line here, but is it possible we end up creating one of these bad boys if that happens, right? Start making this kind of a channel there. Yeah, there's a lot more involved right now. But it looks very healthy. I'll say that. It looks good. It looks good. There's nothing wrong. If all else falls in place in terms of we get green lights in the macro and, blah, blah, blah. Hey, we're moving up. I mean, this is primed. It's ready to go. I don't see any problems at all in this chart. Everything's like fulfilled in terms of ready to go up. I don't see any problem areas. Like, it looks great. Same with EHEX. Like in general, it's in this falling wedge, but in all fairness, I mean, we could break out of here and start moving up. I mean, there's no reason.
Could be bullish news for EHEX too, right? I think the Richard Hart announcement mostly affected pHEX because he's sort of indicated that's his preference.
Yeah.
But Dipcatcher's got that hex chain he's planning on launching, flex
cool.
chain.
Okay. I mean, look, EHEX is a lot of this is dependent on Ethereum, right? Ethereum is the heartbeat of the altcoin market, and obviously EHEX. So, if they decide to start moving Ethereum this week, next week, whatever, into May, June, then hey, we're going up. If they're going to keep it down here, then I'm just going to expect that they're planning on breaking something so they can do an emergency rate cut, blah blah blah, because that's coming, right? And it's obviously he's not doing it by choice. He's not. So they're waiting till they break something or they've already broken something and they just haven't told us what's broken yet, and so they can make an emergency meeting and do a rate cut, blah blah blah. You guys know that story, right? So that's kind of where we are. There's two narratives here that I'm kind of thinking. Either they're just going to hold us off till they get to that point that they know they break something, they cut the rate or whatever event they have fucking planned, or they're gonna start pumping ETH, and that's going to be the go signal for all alts. Everything is ETH starts moving. Oh, I like that. That's a nice black and white, very classic look there. Let's go look at WBTC.
If Ethereum goes up, it's going to affect EHEX first, like before it affects PulseChain. That's the most direct connection, right?
Yeah, big time. Oh yeah, because that'll be the green light for everyone to start buying altcoins, and of course EHEX. People know the case is resolved. What's the first thing people are actually going to buy? To be honest, a lot of people are just going to buy EHEX. You know what I mean?
People who aren't like PulseChain centric, that might be the only thing they know about still, right?
It could be.
Oh heck,
yeah,
Hex is in the clear. I'm going to buy Hex on Ethereum, which is the only Hex I've ever heard of because I wasn't keeping track of it. Right?
Which is a great play. I mean, it is absolutely crushed down. It's at the bottom. This would be the most amazing entry you could get. I mean, even if it were to go a little lower, it doesn't matter because the upside at this point is amazing looking, right? For any trader out there, anyone who's jumping into the altcoin market right now. So yeah, ETH is a big deal right now. And it's obvious that they've been holding ETH down, so they have their hand on it. When they're going to take their hand off, it's up to them. That's why people overcharting it right now. It's like if you haven't gotten the hint yet that there's like a bear sitting on it.
Yep. And Dipcatcher's thing, if it works, could be big. I have to go through it more before I'm willing to comment at all as far as like the details. But his plan is to launch a chain that uses Hex as the gas, like a layer 2.
Okay.
And it would be EHEX specifically that it uses. So I'm gonna do an interview with him tomorrow.
Okay.
And try to get some more facts I can bring back to you. But like it's tech, that's for sure. And he is like a real hardcore dev. So if he can pull it off, and it gets adoption, like it would definitely affect the price of EHEX. I can't see a way it would be negative right now, but I need to ask some more questions.
Teddy bear crushed down. I expect it's going to go sideways and chop until we get to some point, and it'll do a breakout move and make a massive jump across this channel that it's formed. Okay, and then we'll probably get an inverse head and shoulders. So maybe that also times out into summer. Who knows how far they're gonna do this? Could happen anytime. And you can see
for clarity, which teddy bear is this?
This is the original.
Original?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's happening with it. Is it something I missed? I don't keep up with the drama. I know there's been a lot of drama and people upset, and but I know there's a few bears now, and but
yeah.
I don't have an issue with this. The chart may be a great entry. You got a double bottom down here right now with what happened before in a way. When you zoom out, this could be a great spot, right?
And it's a meme coin. It doesn't have any code or anything like that, which in a lot of ways reduces the risk versus something that does have code.
Yeah, and this is kind of the move I'm expecting at some point for Teddy Bear. Atropa will do the exact same move as well. Once again, this is BFF, the other little teddy bear. This will also do it. Now, no one can print these anymore, right? That's been concluded that this developer can't do that.
Well, that was relevant to specifically the treasury bill token that had like a minting function.
Right.
Which my understanding was that the minting function was terminated. They gave up the keys. Basically, there's a way that developers can do that where they, just send the keys to the dead address kind of thing. Nobody can mint anymore. But at that point in time, when that announcement was made, I looked at it, and to me, it looked like he still controlled 97% of the tokens.
Okay.
As far as treasury bill goes, so it's like I didn't feel that good about it. I don't think Teddy had a minting function, though. I didn't do a deep dive, but I thought it was a straight meme coin, meaning that it wouldn't have that. It wouldn't have that function.
Gotcha.
So, but like that web is so thick of different things connected to each other that there's. There could be another token that still has a minting function that's connected to this or that or Teddy or the next one. It's hard to say for sure.
Cool. Okay. But it's low enough where, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think if the market's moving up, I don't think they'll get in the way of that, right? It seems like all the hoopla happened when things were in a drawdown. It also gives sometimes market makers an excuse to pull liquidity for a while too. I don't know. These are games played on exchanges as well, by the way, pups. You'll notice that exchanges can go down at these certain times as well, or like they'll start playing these games too when you have drawdowns. That's why bear markets get scary.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the bull bear market, even these little bear phases, people do weird things, right? Because people who provide liquidity can get jumpy right then, right? And they'll pull it or they'll do something. Like I said, it happens on Binance too. It happens at the big scale, and then you saw it happen with this person, developer that was here. And they get spooked too because they have, he had 6 or 7 figures of liquidity all over the place and different things. So also keep that in mind too. When you're in crypto long enough, you see it. It's not just a rogue dev doing it. Happens on fucking exchanges too. But it doesn't mean this person's my friend. They're a ruthless player in the game. There's no doubt about that. That's certainly been established. But when it's time to make gains, I think everybody shows up again to the table to play. Very quickly.
People are people, right? Like
people.
No matter how cool you seem on the surface, everybody's under pressure.
Yeah.
Everybody has a bad day. It's gonna be telling in the long run who's still here. I just posted on Twitter. With a link to this stream saying, remember the influencers who were working in the bear market, right? Like the people who are showing up then who are still showing up now. I think that's kind of telling when we talk about stuff like this, right?
You're so right. You're so right. Yeah. Like I don't feel like streaming. Like I look at the charts. I don't say everything I see, but I see what's happening, right? And I don't. We're just going to chop until there's a bigger macro decision going on here. Obviously, this could absolutely break to the upside. Pump tires, I've been saying forever, is absolutely amazing. $13 million market cap. You got an inverse head and shoulders right here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Looks really nice. Primed to go. But I'm not going to pretend that there's not bigger stuff happening right now too, right? If BTC poops because everyone's like, yeah, they didn't cut rates. Fuck it. Markets are thin. Corporate execs are not buying. Whatever reason, market gets spooked. Fear just goes everywhere, right? And then the pump doesn't come, right? And then this just chops. It just keeps chopping. But it looks fine. It looks great. These are accumulation zones. This is a Richard Hart meme. This is an ad for pump tires. I feel like this is a no-brainer in terms of Richard Hart having a meme coin. It doesn't get any more no-brainer than this. He's going to promote the crap out of this because it promotes the meme coin casino that burns Pulse. And let me tell you, the next narrative coming in, which is what I predict for this second half of this cycle, is going to be AI and meme coins. All right. And obviously PulseChain, but PulseChain will be the anomaly, will be like something special that's coming. Okay. But besides that, I don't see much happening in the regular world of fucking layers and shit. I think it's going to be AI and memes once again, big time. AI is going to be huge, without a doubt in my mind.
Okay.
But as far as layer ones and like what's PulseChain is going to have like it's a big time it may dominate. It may dominate the bull run. Everyone could be talking about it because Richard Hart, what he did, you know, obviously you see all these influencers already talking about him, and we haven't even, retail's not even here. If you go look at Google Trends, you guys should do that. You guys should be doing that weekly, by the way. That's something easy. You guys come in the Telegram. If you don't know how to do it, we'll show you how to do it. Look up Google Trends. They ain't here, and people are hurting bad. So, you know, we got a little bit of space here that we gotta just cover, okay? Which gets us through summer anyway. You know, we probably needed some time off. I know the traders I've talked to at hedge funds already have their summers already booked. They're not even at their desk, so everyone's already planned on leaving. Now, whether they're not planning on leaving, everyone I talked to started inviting me for July and August. So, you know, we could pump in May and June, who knows? But they've already planned on leaving. But what that tells me is that may be the time for us to really pay attention is July and August. That may be the best time to buy alts or prepare for the ETH for the fall or whatever that is. And that lines up with my narrative I said earlier in the video, which is like, I think an epic bull run is going to happen 4 to 12 months from now. 4 being obviously starting Q4, or, you know, if, who knows, worst case scenario, it's postponed longer than I think. But either way, it's going to be epic. It's going to be fucking epic because they'll be printing. And, the narrative for Bitcoin and crypto is the strongest it's ever been. You got to keep that in mind in terms of like banking and on ramps and off ramps and Michael Saylor. And I mean, everyone's talking about already crypto, right? I mean, fuck, the president has a layer 1 coming out, right? He has a layer 1 coming out, right? So the narrative for just crypto is going to be massive. So when retail does come, you need to be ready. But by then you need to have your bags fully packed. So you need to pay attention. And you can come to the Telegram at St. Wolf Vision. I'll clue you in. When you see that I'm not on the beach and I'm paying attention too, that's your clue to be like, okay, I should probably be paying attention right now too, right? That's why I kind of said I'm starting my summer break a little earlier to get it out of the way, because when they're all off their desk, I know that's the time I need to be looking at the alts and Ethereum and everything like that.
100%.
Yeah. I throw a big 4th of July party and I always remember good times. Everyone is asking about crypto. Nice. What's this guy talking? Is he shilling or is he giving us some fucking alpha? BTC dominance is coming down. I don't think for a while, and I kind of hinted at that earlier. I think it could either hold here or even push up a little bit more, to be totally honest. But you know, it will reverse. Okay, we can go look at that if you guys want to. Yeah, so most looks fine too. Looks very similar to pump tires. This absolutely looks like it could start breaking to the upside. But once again, it could just chop if things just kind of stay a little bit stale for a little while, right? It could just keep chopping sideways, form this consolidation range, probably get some kind of Wyckoff accumulation here if we don't start creating if we don't start making a bullish narrative here and start breaking to the upside, then you can just expect kind of, once again, your traditional, you know, a bit of chop here, right? And before we move up to the upside, whenever that is, right? Just some chop in this range. Maybe you get like a double bottom down here. You get one bit that comes lower. But this is also a good meme coin, one of the richer Hart ones. I think the Hart man has at least half to 80% of the supply on both of these, right? So you know these will have major pump.
I think those are both 80%.
Okay, so yeah, you know. And like I said, I like this one because this is the ad for pump tires, and I think meme coins are not going anywhere. I think they're going to be a major part of the next part of the cycle. I really do.
And all he has to do to run that ad is pump the price. He pumps the price. People go to this page we're looking at right now. Oh, pump.tires. Click on the ad, right? Like, that's a great way to pay for advertising. Certainly works for me if I had some pump in my wallet.
Yeah. USDT. Yeah, we can look at PTGC really quick. So this, once again, this is another one that's been pretty uncanny. I drew it out and we're following to a T. Did we even put the top in where I drew it? Like, is that ridiculous? Look at that. So we got this little pump here. I do expect this to come in. If we get a major pump narrative and ETH starts moving, well, all bets are off and it's going to go up. But I think in the natural, this C is going to play out at somewhere either there or even here. I don't know where it's going to end up. But in the natural, this is coming here for sure. This was a good ride. You know what I mean? And this was pretty clear. I did a little more technical on this one because it started staring me in the face. So you guys can look at that. And it's pretty basic TA 101. Nothing special. Just nothing special there. So yeah, I mean, look, the target here. You guys want to know targets, probably, right? So I mean, look, the bottom of my accumulation range is 0.00005. That could be the lowest it could go to, and I don't remember why that's there, but I'm sure there was a good reason I put that. I charted this a while back, a long time ago. And then the top of this range, if we enter it, is 0.00015. Okay. So somewhere in here, we're going to get a touchdown, I think. Okay. Somewhere in here in this box. Now, we don't have to. We could have just hit the top of the box. You know, could be a possibility, depending if this stays strong. But, you know, if any fear it does hit this market, there's whales, you know, that's usually what creates that last capitulation, you know, a big bag or two will dump. But the truth is, this,
I think these guys have a treasury.
Okay, so they're very good market makers, and there's a treasury. So once again, there's complexities here I don't understand. Maybe the C, like I said, maybe it just does a double bottom with this A wave right here, and maybe that's all you get, you know. So maybe they can hold the price where it is, right? Because they have a treasury and they can buy it back, just like stock buybacks. Companies do it all the time. You see the Fed, without getting into the weeds about it, but they couldn't sell the debt, U.S. debts. First time it's happened in history. Nobody wants U.S. debt. I wonder why. The Fed couldn't sell it, so I think they bought quite a large percentage of the debt. I don't remember the exact number, but it was quite huge. Do you remember the number?
I don't.
Yeah, so everybody does this at some point. So they just bought it themselves. So in the way, when you think about when you have a company,
Here
or
I got
business,
the number.
like,
It's 400 million PLS PTGC used to buy up PTGC out of their treasury.
So there you go.
So
they could buy a percentage of the coin back, and so you won't get the drop. So if somebody sells, they themselves could buy it, just like the Fed just did, you know, to stabilize that market. So this is just normal. It happens in every business. Every good token should do it. Any good layer one, you know, good market maker, maybe they want to hold a price floor, you know, and that's fine. So you guys should be aware of that.
Timing is important, right? Like if you're buying into people selling, it's like it's not going to hold.
Yeah.
So they'll probably do it when there's some sort of euphoria, or hold up a little bit of a floor, like.
Yeah. I mean, it could come a little bit, but maybe at some point they jump in, you know, so it doesn't come all the way down, but maybe it just goes to here to 0.0001. I don't know. I don't know where they step in for them, what makes sense. But it doesn't have to, you know, follow technicals. That's why I don't get too technical with crypto, and I ignore a lot of that, because a lot of these guys, you know, I feel like they're trying to do Forex trading on a crypto market. It just doesn't work.
Right.
It's rarely you're going to see me get this technical on something, and there's no reason it has to come all the way back to any of these lines I drew. So just be aware of that. It is crypto. Liquidity's low on all these things. It's low market cap already anyway. So let's go look at PulsePub. PulsePub's another index, very similar to PTGC in that sense, but tiny market cap. Very cool project by a very cool founder. Now it's kind of come back into this channel here. I do think in the natural, I guess, you know, obviously it's a channel. We see it's touched it once, you know, broken above, come back down, touched it again, broke above again, got support, broke under, turned into resistance. So in the natural, obviously, what do you see? Well, we think it may come back and touch this line again, right? So that would be great. And that is the measured move of this head and shoulders anyway. It comes down around this bottom of this channel, which it's touched before. So maybe that would be a juicy entry down there if we get it, you know what I mean? But yeah, this is so one of the first videos I made was on PulsePub. It's pretty cool what they're doing.
Nice.
Can you look?
But well, if you're where was your entry point? It would have been way back there probably then.
I bought, I think it was $14, $12 or something. Was it? Well, no. I don't remember. I'd have to look, because it wasn't this early. I think it had done this run, and then it dropped, and I scooped it up. Was it summer of 24? Maybe. No, I was making videos.
Okay.
July. Maybe it was around here, because I don't think I was this early over here, and I don't think I would have bought this. Okay, I have to look. But yeah, it was good. But I will say, you know, I sell, and I sold a lot of PTGC and this on the way up, yeah, so there'll be a point when I rotate into some of this stuff. Sell in May and go away. I think it's like 50%. It's just a nice phrase, but it doesn't always play out like that. Things can pump into May and June, just so you know. Now, July is usually a weak month because everyone takes vacation. It's the hottest time of the year everywhere in the northern hemisphere. So generally, most people take some vacation in July and August. You know, especially here in Europe, the hottest time is August. It's like brutally hot. So people just don't go to work in these times of year. And then everybody I know from Wall Street, everybody I know down on Brickell in Miami, at every hedge fund, I've already gotten messages like, oh, hey, we're going to Portofino. Hey, we're going here. Come meet me here. So they're already booking Italy, Portugal, Greece, you know, whatever. So, but that's July and August. That's when they're called. So, you know, markets can pump into May and June, though. That's one thing I'll say for sure. July and August, usually not. Usually not. Everyone's on vacation then. Let's go look. Pulse Pup.
June. I'm marking down June on my calendar then. Before July and August.
Somebody recently talked to me about Titan X, and I looked at it because I thought this project disappeared a long time ago, and it's literally still there. There are still people in this project.
There's quite a large community. It kind of vampire attacked the PulseChain, kind of like Zen.
It did? Okay.
Yeah, like that's it. It stemmed off the PulseChain, right? Are you looking at it on Ethereum?
It's wrapped ETH Titan X from Uniswap.
Yeah. So there'll be a little bit on the PulseChain bridged over, but it was definitely like PulseChain people who bought into this early and participated in it, you know, for that big green candle to start. So, there, of course, there's a lot of FUD surrounding that, but you know, it does have a big following. It's kind of a it was actually an influencer, Jake Sharp, and he was kind of a PulseChain. He's mostly a PulseChain influencer.
Okay.
And
right.
he forked off and made this on Ethereum, and then pulled in a lot of PulseChain people behind him.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I was looking at the chart. I mean, yeah, it's pretty wrecked, but it's down so low. You know, I see this kind of falling wedge formation. I just kind of charted it for the fun of it, see what was going on over here.
It's a protocol thing. Like, it has inflation, it does stuff, it has staking. So it's, you know, it's not just a simple meme coin thing. It's going to matter what happens next with the protocol. A lot of people built on top of it.
Really?
Yeah, even on the PulseChain, they have things built on top of it.
So
not all of them work very well.
Yeah, it's just down so low that I think you will get a pump out of it. Like it you know, this looks like it'll break to the upside at some point. I see a big W here. I see a falling wedge. That being said, I don't think DeFi is going to be a big narrative, but PulseChain is special because we have Richard Hart and the community.
Yeah.
So that's why it's what we're doing is really special. So if there is a DeFi run, it's going to be on PulseChain, and that's it. But that being said, this does have a community around it. This looks like it could.
Well, this thing's PulseChain adjacent because it had a PulseChain community, right?
Oh, okay, got
like
you.
That was the initial community, and there is some on PulseChain.
Okay.
Let me look at the.
Well, there's definitely some nice shapes for me here. You know, maybe I'll touch in with it later and let's see how it's doing. But yeah, it definitely looks been beaten down here pretty good. Yeah.
My wife saw the first bear of the year today when she was driving.
Ooh, really? So
it was a big one too.
Does that tell you it's spring for you guys, or does that already like a jump for summer?
It's spring. That means that the bears have woken up and they're wandering around.
Got you. And we looked at. Do we look at DAI?
Titan X has over 20,000 holders on Ethereum.
Okay. Yeah, look, when they start flooding liquidity, everything's, I think, not everything, but I think a lot of these major projects are going to pump. You know what I mean? Of course, you know, it is. But I think having a founder like RH matters for sure, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, there's nothing to say here. I mean, it is what it is. It's turned into a meme coin, I guess. $37 million market cap. I'm not going to bother charting this. It is what it is.
Biggest holder only has $2.3 million worth.
$2.3 million worth?
Is the biggest wallet with 12%. So yeah, it is.
How big are the holders? Like how crazy is it? What are we talking here?
Well, like if we look at the top 10 wallets, 12, 8, 20, 25, 28, 31, 35, about almost 40% in the top 10 wallets.
Oh, fuck that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a consideration. Sorry, I said wallets, but half of those are contracts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 of those 10 are contracts of some type.
Okay, well,
Like
the top
yeah, like
20.
which could be like Uniswap V3 contracts and stuff like that, like liquidity. So my number is probably off there. We'll take that number down to
I can't even
about
open this.
20%. 20% in the top 10 for wallets.
20% in the top 10 for wallets.
Yeah. I was talking about Titan X, by the way.
Oh, you were talking about.
Sorry,
Titan.
I was working in the background. I wasn't looking at the screen.
Oh, okay, got you. Because I was gonna
I
say,
was talking about
like,
Titan X on Ethereum.
I was like,
Yeah.
nah, dude. Everyone has hundreds of millions of.
Oh,
pDAI,
yeah.
Hundreds of millions of pDAI, $250 million, quarters of a billion. No, it's insane, dude. It's insane. Look, man.
Oh yeah, this is a totally different story. Yeah.
Yeah. So this I just look at charts and markets for years, man. This is coordinated. Yeah, this was a coordinated. People knew when this was going to happen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like some people knew the exact moment it was going to happen because they made it happen.
They
right?
made it happen. Yes,
So-
people made it happen, and their colleagues, friends, insiders, whatever. And at some point, they'll be shilling it, and they all have hundreds of millions of pDAI, hundreds of millions.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't like that before. It's not necessarily, I'm sure it'll pump and what have you, but you know, some of you guys have been once in a while dropping this and that and then noticing I'm not paying attention. Pups, it's not that I'm you know, it's very painful to see this, but I'm also have to be objective and just fucking clear in my head, even though it's a meme coin, whatever the inflation's done or whatever the fuck the hack, whatever was happening is finished. The point is that insiders got a hold of it and coordinated this, okay, and everybody knew when to get in, and you've got hundreds and hundreds of millions of pDAI above your head, and I don't remember this ever looking like this before. I remember in the early days it was just speculation. No one was throwing that kind of money at it, right? But now it's like a different game, right? So I don't play games where it's like completely stacked against me, right? Now, that being said, you know, maybe this capitulates and goes to lower and lower price targets, and then it evens the playing field, right? So that would be interesting because it's a meme coin, right? So it's 36. So let's say it came down, it would have to get to $5 to $10 million market cap, and then you've got this thing of like, okay, I could build a position, and then as it moves up, you know, play the game, you know, with it, right? But when you have a situation like this, I'm not trying to ignore people in the community who are coming. I'm not being mean to anybody in pDAI anymore at all. I'm just not paying attention because when I come here and I see this kind of these numbers, what are you going to do? Like, you know what I'm saying?
In like hundreds of wallets with like hundreds of millions of pDAI, right? Like those are big wallets.
Yeah, it's a level. It's not a game. You know, like I mean, there's a point when you got to ask yourself, like, is your brain working? You know, because we have really amazing stuff going on, right? Like, you know, PulseX.
Not all those
Hex.
people are true believers either, right? Like some of them are guys who just bought that dip for the purpose of trading,
right?
Who were on the ball or knew about it beforehand. Like you said, it doesn't. They're not holding for the dollar.
Yeah, and when you know there's so many insiders, it's a tough game to play because like where do you turn at that point, right? Because if they knew where this was coming, they'll know when all the dumps are coming, the bigger dumps. You got to understand that once these things happen, and they happen so you know. It's such a, like, I don't even know what the word is here. it can happen again. It can happen every time that they want to market make this and move the price up and down. There's such a large group of insiders at this point that seem to be connected that you don't stand a chance. You know what I'm saying? They could do it at the weirdest times. They could just be like, hey, we're going to da-da-da-da at this time, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, what are you going to do? How are you going to play this game? How are you going to play it, right? At least with Hex, there's still quite a bit of transparency there. Let's say, for example, and now with Hart back, I mean, you know, he's going to make Hex fucking shine, right? Inc, PulseX, PulseChain. I just showed you guys pump tires. Pump tires can do 1,000x, you know? Because what is that at? It's at 14 million?
I think that's about what you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from there, maybe 100x, maybe 1,000x. I mean, maybe it gets to 14 billion. I mean, it could definitely get, because it is pump tires, it could probably do numbers like 2-3 billion. So maybe, what's that, like a 200-300x? Maybe something like that.
Yeah. What if he makes improvements? What if it starts dual launching the token on PulseChain and auto bridging half of it to Ethereum? You know, like there's like, or Solana, like that.
Yeah.
There is tech for that. Like
Yeah.
it could be done, right? Like there's things to improve it.
This is another strong narrative as well. Purple wrapped Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, it's just pulse wrapped Bitcoin, purple Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because getting this to parity would be a huge marketing move for PulseChain. So, you know, once again, there was a pretty serious wick down here, but it wasn't as brutal as the pDAI wick. So once again, I think this just went together, but I'm sure people who knew possibly accumulated some stuff here. But I like that. That's nice. Good look on you too. But the ratio is not bad. We can also look at this one if you want. But this is also something that I think this was probably the strongest narrative of the two anyway. It was just the pDAI one was just very exciting because it was a stable coin, right? It was like this amazing this thing. But to be honest,
the story was so much fun, right?
Yeah,
you had the set point, $1, like
yeah.
You know, where there's no set point for Bitcoin, except for to be at parity with regular Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's
which
still
would
an
be
amazing
fine.
narrative. If Bitcoin goes to 250,000, or I said 400,000, which I do think is possible when things really pump. Okay, so I'm going to put that out there. I did it last stream. I'll do it again. So my target I'll change it if I feel it. But when I was charting it before, I came up with about 400,000. Okay, so if BTC goes to 400,000, purple Bitcoin can go to 400,000. Okay, you better believe it. Like I think so. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
Let's go look at the holders here and see what's going on. Yeah, there's
What's
some
that first one that has 21%?
Whoa! Oh, this is the Heartman, right?
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I remember this about looking like this before. I remember buying it and seeing people who had like 300, 400 purple Bitcoin. I remember this. I don't remember that pDAI one. That one was new with that many people who had 250 million pDAI. That did not exist before, man. I promise. That was not like that before. That's why
seeing
I'm trying to help you
300
guys.
purple Bitcoin on a first page holder isn't that big a deal.
It's not.
Right? Like
it's not a big deal.
That's mellow.
This is a game I can play. Like I can do this, right? I've already have a little bit of a position, but I think it's a great hold. These aren't things that people would dump very quickly because of the parity, and this is a really good narrative here. There are some, I mean, people have been accumulating. There were some juicy dips, so, but not like what I saw on the purple Bitcoin thing. Yo, RH Max, what's up, brother? Hey, congrats again on your awesome 2-day. What was the name? The official name?
PulseChain Conference 2055.
You called it 2055 PulseChain Conference. Everybody smash the like button.
Pretty sure that was it.
Yeah. Give some props out. RH Max. He did an awesome 2-day conference.
It was
PulseChain
good.
2055.
And Richard shouted out, which was wicked. Like twice he
Yeah.
retweeted it,
Yep.
right, and sent people to it. So that's like as good of an endorsement as you ever get from Richard.
That was huge, man. So RH Max, shout out to you. The Heartman was talking about it as well. So he was probably watching quite a bit of it too, man. So that's awesome.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
Yeah, you did great work. Came just in time. pWBTC is pure meme. What did the parent company come in and do? Parent company, I don't think the parent company, well, I don't want to get too into, no, I don't want to get into the weeds. Yeah, man, great conference. Everybody smashed
It was good
the
that
like
you
button.
came on, Wolf. I thought that was great. To have you exposed to the whole PulseChain community as like one of the main influencers, right? That was
Yeah.
kind of like a who's list who was on there. So
That was a good
I'm glad you
panel.
were there.
I totally thought it was 12:30. I think when you have an odd time, like my mind just like saved it as 12:30, not 12:15. But I'm glad I made it right then. I came a little early, so it worked out. But that was fun, and I wasn't even feeling good that day, man. I was so worn down. I'm like, I want to go to this. I have to go. It's gonna be awesome.
It was a good panel. Like, you know, like it was pretty easy to be on that panel with those guys. I've been on Hart panels before where there's one or two lunatics, but that was an easy one.
What makes somebody a lunatic
Or
on
just
panel?
intense dudes, right? Like,
Oh yeah. No, everybody was pretty chill, and I've been wanting to meet some of those people. Yeah, so it's good I got to meet them.
yeah.
Oh, Rich matters back. So yeah, we just got to keep an eye to see what's going on here. Let's see. BTC is pushing up. We're at 97. I have a resistance line right there. Oh, we've broken it. Okay, 97. Look, I think my big resistance here for me, I think it's like 98, 99. I think I already have it drawn out. Yeah, I drew the line right where the kind of like, I knew we were going to at least go sideways there, and we're there right now. So either we're going to come down pretty soon. I'd say maybe it's time to short it. If it doesn't close above this wick, see this wick right here? So this wick is 98.8, 98.9, whatever. If we don't get above there, I'd say it's time to short, or we're just going to go sideways here, which was kind of just a feeling I had that they might just hold it somewhere, which always wrecks a lot of people too.
Yeah, of course, because people are going to be shorting it or longing it, and they'll just hold in the same place, and they're paying fees to stay in, right?
Yeah. Your funding rate. But it's more that people just get jumpy, and you start wanting to do dumb shit. You know what I mean? You start overthinking. It really fucks with your head. That's the problem. That's why that's why it'll move, and then just they make it go sideways forever. That's why I draw these now, because I know what it's been doing. You know, I know it'll come up and it'll just go sideways. And I mean, this isn't that bad for just doing a quick sketch. Like, it's played out. I drew it back here, and it literally tracked it pretty damn good. But I put two lines. I said it's either going to come here to 94 or to this one. It looks like we're coming up at this one at 97. So those were my two options. Let's see what happens. I might put in a short tonight. The sunglasses smooth you out for a stream. The cape for a live conference. Oh, you got a good look right now, man. Looks very like 1950s. It's like golden background.
Yeah, Technicolor, eh?
Yeah, it looks good. Let me see how much battery I got left. Is this dying? Might die. Maybe I gotta wrap it up soon. Let's see. We looked at. Has Richard Hart tweeted anything?
Oh, let me take a look. He's been tweeting so much that it's like almost not as much of an event in a way, right? Like, he's definitely active.
Fuck, sorry.
You and I are going to be on a stream with him one day.
That would be awesome, brother. That would be fun. We'll pull out all the stops. I think he can handle it.
Oh, yeah. Bring the hard questions.
Yeah, I'll bring the hard.
Yeah, he hasn't tweeted since he posted the stream that he did, which has 306,000 views and 7,500 likes. Yeah, I think it did good.
Nice. Really nice. Yeah, we watched that whole video on here.
Yeah, I saw it good.
Beautiful.
I was on with Crypto 7 when you started talking about the same thing. So, but yeah, it's good that a lot of people have been playing that video. It's going to get a lot of airtime.
Yeah. Chat, who out there is not subscribed to the channel? And if you're not in the Telegram, you should come to the Telegram. I have TA that I get downloaded from the aliens. The Pleiadians send me their downloads for the charts, and I put all my updates in there first. I let you guys know my thoughts on the market, which are well thought out, and we talk about a lot of cool stuff in there. At St. Wolf Vision, it's at the top of the screen. Sorry, my mouse froze, so I couldn't do anything. But come to at St. Wolf Vision. Come to at St. Wolf Vision. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button for sure. Tam Tam, you're amazing. You always bring the vibe. I love it. Did RH leave Finland? Digital Money Marcus? Nobody knows where he is. Nobody knows.
Nope.
I don't even
And
know.
If I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
If I knew he was a morning or night person, it would help. But he could be further east too at this point.
Well, last night he put that. Let me check when he did that tweet.
I was sleeping.
Right?
It was 7 a.m. ish, I think.
16 hours ago.
Yeah, so 6 a.m., right? No, 4 a.m.? Yeah, 8 a.m. ish, I think.
8 a.m. in what time? Your time zone?
Yeah, it was for me. So, which I think is the same as Finland. So I'm in Finland time zone. So either he's a very early riser or is he a night person? Because that's pretty late. So I'm guessing he might have gone further east because that would have put him a little later in the day. Yeah. Also, we got some big surprises coming out. I'm going to do another video. Some people decoded it. I think you guys got close. I got something really special coming up really soon. So I want to keep you guys updated on that. And I think some of you guys will retire if you pay attention. But otherwise, you guys are absolutely amazing. At St. Wolf Vision, Telegram, smash the like button. We'll see you in a couple days here. I'll probably try to stream this weekend. Fast, you got anything you want to close with?
Just that I'm happy with ink price right now. It's been going great for ink printer. Everybody's loans are looking like pretty good when your collateral goes up by 50%. Your loan looks pretty healthy. So yeah, cheers to the community and for participating with ink. I think it's going to be a winner.
It's going really good. The response has been amazing. We're going to do a bigger deep dive here on the next show. And maybe this Friday or this weekend or something like that, and we'll go a little deeper because I'm curious. I have a lot of questions too about ink printers, so it'll be the perfect time for me to ask you because I love ink.
Some of my upgrades will be out by then, so we can go through liquid staked print token, which would be a new thing. It's the same token. It's not a new token, but it's just a liquid staked version, so people can have a staked token, but it's liquid in their wallet.
Did you say liquid?
More details to come.
This is all I want to do this summer. I just want to swim, man. Swim. Man.
Yeah, looks nice.
Europe winters are rough. So yeah, I got a lot of questions. Ink is awesome. We love me some ink. Ink is great. It's special.
Yeah. Bullish on ink.
Bullish. Yeah, come to the Telegram. Any questions you guys have, I check it all the time. I haven't been streaming as often as I do normally, but I do check the Telegram all the time. So if you have questions or anything I see in the markets, I'll update you guys there too. Otherwise, yeah, we will see you in a couple nights or something. Night, everybody. See you.
All right.